Collective, welcome back to my channel. I am the Nosy Witch and this is my channel, Nosy Witch Tarot. This reading is titled, What Are Their Hidden Fantasies? Who is sprung for you this spring and why? So the inspiration for this reading really came from a place of wanting to do something kind of spring themed, because we are getting towards spring. I say that, but it's raining pretty heavily where I am at the moment, so it's not feeling like spring vibes over here. But nevertheless, we are trying to manifest these spring vibes with this reading. So I thought, let's do Who's Sprung for You this spring. It makes me think of the T-Pain song back in the day. If you know, you know. I am definitely showing my age there. And I think sprung is actually the perfect word, because when I was looking up the definition, just to make sure that I am using the right phrase for what I want to convey, it said something like when you are utterly infatuated with a person. So I thought, yes, that is absolutely the one. That is the message we are delivering today. And so that's why I decided to call the reading that. So this reading will start by you picking from one of these 4 oracle cards. These cards are from the Fated, a Pocket Love oracle deck. I will link it in the description below. This is such a beautiful deck. I really like the artwork on the cards, and these cards are so tiny. They're so small and cute, and I just thought they were perfect to use in this reading today. I got them from Etsy, but like I say, I will link them below. So the aim of the reading is not only to look at who is sprung for you this spring, who this person actually is, obviously we will cover that, but it is also to kind of find out what this person's hidden fantasies are. So the idea behind the reading is that you may know this person, you may not know this person, or at least you may not know that they feel this way towards you. For some of you, this might be a more sort of secret admirer. For others of you, this could be somebody who, like, you know that they are attracted to you. Maybe you are already in a relationship, but you don't maybe know all of their hidden fantasies. So this will sort of encompass that. It's going to be different for everyone. Obviously, please remember this is a collective reading. Not everything is going to resonate, and that's okay. If it doesn't resonate with you, you do not have to accept this as your story. You can either choose a different pile or you can click off the reading. You are always welcome to come back to this reading at a different stage in your life when this reading might resonate for you more. That is very much okay. Now, I think I am going to put an 18+ label on this reading, because with this being about hidden fantasies, there may be some mild sexual references. Things might get a little bit spicy, a little bit juicy. That's why I've painted the strawberries on my nails, because things are getting a bit juicy in this reading. So for the majority of people, these fantasies are likely to border on sexual, but they certainly don't have to be sexual in nature. And if you are somebody who identifies as being asexual, or you are just practicing celibacy at the moment, or you are just not interested in having a sexual relationship at the moment, I really hope that you can still take something from this reading. I don't want you to feel alienated or feel as though you can't listen to this. The fantasies do not just have to be sexual. I probably will get other messages coming through, so please stay tuned. Please carry on listening if you are called to do so, and hopefully there will be something in one of the piles that resonates for you. Just a little disclaimer, these readings are intended for entertainment purposes only. This should be a little bit of fun. It should just confirm what your intuition is already picking up on. Sometimes when we do love readings, it can pick up on past energy. If there is a past energy that I pick up on and you don't want to hear about it, you know that that will be triggering for you. You know that it is not in alignment with what is best for your mental health. Again, please feel free to click off the reading, come back to it another time, or choose a different pile. They hopefully, I've not started them yet, but they hopefully won't all be about past people. But if they are, I can only apologize. I can only be honest about what's coming through on the cards. And I endeavour to do these readings with integrity and just say what is honestly coming through, and that's all I can do. I apologise if that is triggering for anyone. That is not my intention. If you feel like it's going to trigger you, please click off the reading. Please look after yourself and come back when you're ready. That is all more than okay. Again, these are collective readings, so if I'm picking up on something that is not relevant to you or your situation, you do not have to accept that as your story. Not every single detail is going to resonate with every single person. and I wouldn't expect it to with a collective reading. So please do not get offended if I say something and it doesn't align with you and your situation. I'm probably not delivering that message for you, and that is okay. So yes, we are going to be starting off the reading with a little bit of an energy check. Like I say, you will choose from one of these 4 oracle cards. We will use these cards to do an energy check. I may roll the astro dice for a little bit of further confirmation, and then we will move on to the tarot portion of your reading, which will elaborate on the energy further, go into more detail about not just who this person is, but what their fantasies might be. The oracle will just be a check for the overarching energy, so please bear that in mind going into the reading. So once you've chosen your pile, please go to the description or the comments below. I will put the timestamps in both the description and I will also pin it in the comments. So you can click the correct timestamp and that will take you to your pile, and that will be the start of your reading. I'm about to get started in just a moment, so please don't worry, I won't waffle on for much longer, but I just want to say thank you so much for all the support you've given me so far. I notice every single comment, every single like, and every single new sub, and I'm so grateful for you all taking time out of your day to be here, to listen to me, to give me feedback. It all means so much to me. It really does mean a lot. I know I say it in every video and you're probably tired of hearing it, but it's true. And I don't have another way that I can thank you guys at the moment, so I just want to keep expressing my gratitude in these readings. It really does mean so much. With that said, if you haven't yet subscribed, or you kind of like me, you think I'm alright, you like some of my videos, please think about subscribing. At the very least, please give me a like, please comment if at all possible. I have just started to kind of learn about my analytics, so I have been looking into those, and I noticed that although I do have a lot of returning viewers, only about 10% of my viewers are currently subscribed to me, and about 90% are not subscribed by the looks of it. So if you are open to giving me a chance and committing to me by clicking that subscribe button, that would be absolutely amazing. It would just show me that, you know, you like the kind of content that I'm putting out. I am also open to suggestions going forward. So please subscribe. The worst that can happen is that you click the subscribe button, you decide you don't like me, and in a couple of weeks you unsubscribe. But if you do subscribe, I promise I will try my very best to make it worth your while with my consistent content, with being consistent putting videos up. Anyway, thank you for listening to that. We are about to get started. I'm just going to take a moment to introduce the piles. So over here we have pile 1 and the maroon crystal heart. So that is pile 1 and the red/maroon crystal heart. Here we have pile 2 and the deep brown crystal heart. It might appear darker than that on camera, but it is a brown colour. So we have pile 2 and the deep brown crystal heart. Here we have pile 3 and the pale pink crystal heart. Pile 3 and the pale pink crystal heart. And here we have pile 4 and the grey crystal heart. Pile 4 and the grey crystal heart. So as I said, once you have chosen your pile, please go to the timestamp below. That will take you to your reading. If you are called to look at more than one pile, please look at more than one pile. There is no reason why you can't do that. There is no reason why, each pile couldn't be a different person. Just go with whatever your intuition is calling you to do. If you're feeling out of touch with your intuition today for some reason, you are more than welcome to use a random number picker online in order to pick a pile for you. If you are finding that just none of the readings are resonating today, that is okay. It might not be your story, it might not be your reading today. These readings are intended to be timeless. It might resonate with you a different day. Please feel free to come back at any point and listen to this reading. Luckily, there are plenty of other readings and plenty of other readers out there. This one might not be for you right now, but another one could be. We are very fortunate to have lots of different content out there. Just please take what feels right and leave the rest for somebody else. Thank you so much for listening, collective, and I'll see you in your reading. Hi Power One Collective, welcome to your reading. If you chose this red/maroon crystal heart and you chose Power One, this will be your reading. This reading is titled, What Are the Hidden Fantasies? Who is sprung for you this spring? So this reading will basically be about the person who has a crush on you. First, we will be uncovering the overarching energy with the oracle card right here. This will give you confirmation of who this person is. Now, for some of you, if you know that somebody has a crush on you, you might know who this is already. However, we are also going to be uncovering this person's hidden fantasies. So what are their secret fantasies about you? Even if you know they like you, this will also dig up the dirt, dig up the secrets on what their hidden fantasies are. For others of you, you might be clueless about who this is, and also you might be clueless about what these fantasies are. So either way, please stay tuned and listen if that is something you are interested in discovering today. Now, I think I am going to label this reading as an 18+ reading due to the mild sexual references. Because this is a reading about fantasies, things like that might come up. So if you are below the age of 18, please click off this reading, go and do your homework or something, come back when you are 18 or watch a different reading. However, I mentioned this in the introduction, but I just want to point out that not every part of this reading will be sexual. Some bits might get a little bit spicy, but it's not going to dominate the whole reading. So if you are not interested in the sexual stuff, but you're still curious about who this person is and what they might be thinking, then please carry on listening. You might be able to find something in this reading that resonates for you and your situation. People can fantasize about many things. It doesn't all have to be sexual, so please don't be discouraged if you know you're not interested in having that kind of intimate relationship right now. Like if you're asexual or if you're just choosing to be celibate or something like that, please carry on listening. You might be able to find something in the reading for you. I would advise you to listen to the introduction if you haven't already done so. There's a couple of disclaimers in there, things you might need to know. If you want more details regarding what this reading will entail, please go and check out the introduction. But if not, if you're just here to get started and let me get on with it, I'm about to do that. Anyone who hasn't looked at the introduction but has liked my videos, commented or subscribed, I just want to thank you so much. I won't go on about it because I've said enough in the introduction, but I do really appreciate you being here. And if some of you would like to if you would like to comment or subscribe, then please do that. It would mean the absolute world to me and I would really appreciate it. Okay, without any more hesitation, let's get started with the reading, Pal 1. Okay, Pal 1, so we have... Ooh, sexual chemistry. That's very fitting for this style of reading. Interesting. I'm surprised that we got that almost immediately for Pal 1. Okay. Okay, Pal 1. So firstly, I am very sorry for stating the obvious here, but this is a person with whom you share a great deal of sexual chemistry with. I think this is a mutual tension, a mutual palpable feeling, something the both of you can feel in the air when you are near each other. I think you and this person are both quite aware of this tension, but I don't think you have necessarily done anything about it, either of you, because with this bottle, it's making me feel as though things have been bottled up. So maybe this feeling hasn't been expressed. So I would be quite surprised if this was somebody from your past. Well, it could potentially be someone from your past, but I just don't think you have necessarily been in like a sexual or intimate relationship with this person before, because it's like there is so much tension here that it feels as though there are a lot of things that haven't been explored, a lot of things that you and this person have never done. So therefore the fantasies are very much based on this tension. This is about this person thinking what it would be like to be with you in that way. Now, if it isn't that, if it isn't like a relatively new person, if you think this is somebody who you feel a tension with, but you have been intimate with before in a sexual way, it could be that there is a lot of tension because both of you were each other's best in that way, but perhaps there's been a reason that you haven't been able to get together in that way for a long time. So therefore there is this tension built up, because let's say if you've decided not to have that kind of relationship with this person, if you have had to create boundaries or something like that, it could be that both of you, like let's say it's a friends with benefits situation or something like that, and both of you have agreed that, you know, maybe feelings were getting too intense or somebody was getting too attached or something like that, and you both decided to pull back and not have a physical relationship because you wanted to remain friends, but you didn't want to ruin the friendship or something like that. It could be that this person very much reflects on those physical times that you had together, and they're thinking, oh, Pal One was the best I ever had, and they're fantasizing about getting that back. They're sort of reminiscing on those moments you shared together, and you know, they're just in their head a little bit about it. And maybe like with this snake as well, that gives me the impression of somebody who's trying to like lure someone back. The phrase like snake charmer is coming to mind. I don't know why I just did that, but yeah, the phrase snake charmer. So it's making me feel as though the two of you might kind of tease each other or something like that. You might kind of do things on purpose, or this person might, to try and lure you in a sexual way, to try and create chemistry. Like if this is a person who you slept with before and they know what you like, they know what you look for in a partner, or if this is just like a friend or a person in your life who you haven't slept with before, but you've told them what you like in a partner, like maybe if you say you like your partner wearing a certain perfume or a certain cologne or something like that, a certain aftershave, this person will purposely wear it around you or something like that. They just do things to try and tease you, to try and get you interested in a sexual way. It's also giving me the image of, you know, let's say the two of you work together, like your colleagues or something like that. It could be that you need to go in a certain room. It's giving me the image of like somebody walks through a doorway and somebody blocks their way. And obviously that would normally be like very annoying, but it's like this person maybe blocks your way. They're like, oh, you're not getting past me. And it doesn't annoy you. You're just like, you're feeling this sexual tension, you know, just little things like that, where they try and do things like that to get in closer proximity with you. They use like teasing you as an excuse to get closer, or an excuse to touch you, or just be very, very near to you. And with that example of them wearing like the perfume or the aftershave or something to try and get your attention, they'll purposely manufacture these situations where you're near to them so that potentially you can smell what perfume or aftershave they're wearing, because they know that that will lure you in or something like that. For a lot of you, like I say, I do think that this could be someone new, someone that you haven't slept with, but you both have a very physical attraction towards each other. Maybe not much else has been explored at this stage. They could be a friend, or it could just be somebody you know, encounter in your day-to-day life, at work, or just in your community or something, and they feel this pull towards you. They fantasize about what it would be like to be with you. Or if you have slept with them, because that's going to apply for a few of you, when I said like snake charmer, if this person has the anatomy to whom that corresponds, if they have their own snake, it could be that they think of you as like a snake charmer in that sense. Not to be gross, but just in the way that they think you're really skilled in maneuvering their anatomy, let's say. And you know, with there being like a bottle on the card, it's making me think of like a love potion. So this could be somebody who feels like you've literally put a spell on them. It's literally what the title says, like they're infatuated with you. They are like, what has pile one done to me? You know, I'm thinking about these kinds of things all the time. Maybe they usually don't, but you are popping into their mind quite a lot in that way, and they are wondering what you've done to them. I mean, maybe some of you are spiritual and you're into like witchy things, and maybe they can kind of sense this mysticism about you, and that is something that draws them in. But yes, whether you have slept with them or you haven't slept with them, whether or not you have been intimate with them, this person is very hooked on you. They are very enthralled by your energy. They are constantly thinking and fantasizing about exploring you more. So in the tarot portion of the reading, we will expand on this energy a little bit further, but I might just finish this oracle portion of the reading off with a little bit of confirmation from the astro dice. So the placements on the astro dice don't have to apply specifically. Like if it comes up with Sagittarius and your person isn't a Sagittarius, that's fine. It could just be that the energy that comes through on the astro dice, regardless of whether they're that sign or not, that could be like the current energy they're embodying in relation to you. So you can take it that way. Either way, I think it's helpful to look at the astro dice, and it can just be a little bit of further confirmation on your end. So let's have a look at that power one. Okay, pile one. So we have got a Gemini. We have got Gemini coming through. Lord help you, pile one. I'm only joking, Geminis. We have got the 8th house. Scorpio energy coming through. Again, like Lord help you, pile one. And I say that as a Scorpio. And we also have Mercury coming through, which is interesting because Mercury, you know, is associated with Gemini and Virgo. So those could be prominent placements in either this person's chart or your chart. Doesn't have to be. Okay, so with this Gemini coming through, you know, obviously you or this person could be a Gemini, but if not, it could be that there is this sense that this person has multiple sides to them or two sides. You know, Gemini is very good at being adaptable, being flexible in terms of adapting to many different situations. But in this context, in relation to like sexual chemistry and fantasies, it could be that this person has two sides to them, and like the hidden element is the side that maybe you don't know about to the full capacity. So like, let's say, this doesn't have to be the case, but you know, if this is somebody who you work with, they could approach you very innocently, very professionally. This could be the type of person that even to some capacity, you might have thought like, oh, I don't know if they're sexually interested in me because I can't imagine this person having sex or something like that. Do you ever meet people and you think that kind of thing? And it's not that they're not attractive. It's just like because they come across as like a little bit more innocent or a bit more playful or like not taking things too seriously. Maybe you have a good laugh and a good joke with this person. You have the same sense of humor or something like that. They're very funny. Maybe you haven't always thought of them in that light of being like a sensuous person or something like that, but it could be that they're like low-key a bit freaky and you don't know that. They could have a lot of these hidden fantasies. With the 8th house coming through as well, it's like the house of secrets, the house of hidden information. So it does feel as though, you know, this person, a lot of this is not something that's known by you. You know, maybe they come across as one way, but then in the bedroom, they're very much another way, and it's not what you would expect, because with the 8th house, it makes me think of sort of like, it gives me tower vibes a little bit, like sort of shocking transformations. So it makes me think that this is something that you would be shocked by. And this could be the kind of person where like when you interact with them, you might think, oh, like this person is all talk. They talk a good game, but like, you know, I don't think they would really be able to satisfy someone in a bedroom context or something like that. But this person might shock you, like with this 8th house coming through. I think this person really wants to give you a life-changing time. I don't think this would be a quickie if you were to get intimate with them in that way. They are not just up for a quickie. I think they want to give you a transformative experience. They want to change your life in some way through this experience, which, you know, is no easy task. Obviously, the 8th house as well is like the house of death. And I know, you know, death and sex don't necessarily go together. Like, well, they can do, but, you know, it's not the most sexy topic. But I know sometimes reaching climax can be referred to a mini death. I feel like I have heard that before. So, you know, it could be that this person really wants you to experience a transformative event in that sense. They want to make you feel like you've gone through a mini death of some kind by taking you to that point of climax. With the 8th house being sort of about secrets and hidden energy, you know, it's making me feel as though this person might have some secret fantasies that are more taboo. Nothing, you know, deranged, I don't think, but just maybe something that you wouldn't expect from them. Something that's not completely vanilla. Like, you might think of them as somebody who has only had sort of like vanilla relationships, you know, like sex in missionary position with the lights off or something like that. But actually, I think there is a lot more to this person, and they might have some sort of kinks or things that you just wouldn't expect from them. I think it's just quite shocking because of who they are, not because of what the actual desires are. And with this Mercury coming through as well, you know how we said this might be a person who you think sort of talks a good game? I think they do talk a good game, but actually I think you would be surprised that they could back it up with what they're saying. I think this would be somebody who is maybe quite good at dirty talk, whether that be via text or in person. They could be good at sexting. Communication always makes me think as well of like the things you use to communicate, like a throat or a tongue. So that's just what I'll say. They could be good in that way. But if it's not sexual, you know, this could just be a person who's really chatty, who knows how to be stimulating in a conversation, who knows how to talk about interesting things. And maybe something that you admire about them is their ability to communicate and to adapt and to be in this more sort of Gemini energy, if that is the case. They could be quite a social person, quite a friendly person, just an overall chatty and engaging person in terms of their words. They could know the right things to say, they could know how to charm, they could know how to flirt. You could think that they are a bit of a flirt, so maybe like you don't take them too seriously because if they flirt with you, you also see them flirting with other people or something like that. But I think, you know, it is actually you with this 8th house that they are obsessing over, they are fixated on. But again, you might not know this, so you might just think, yeah, like they flirt with everyone. But really, Power One, you are the only one who they are kind of sprung over, who they are fully infatuated with. So, you know, there's a lot of power in that. Okay, Power One, we are just going to move on to the tarot portion of the reading, so please bear with me and we'll have a look at the cards we pulled for you. See you in your tarot reading, Power One. Hi, Power One Collective. Welcome back to the tarot portion of your reading. Without hesitation, let's get started and have a look at the cards we pulled for you. Okay, Power One. So we have the 10 of Stars. Stars in this deck is Pentacles. We have the 10 of Stars. We have the Queen of Stars. We have the 2 of Wands in reverse. We have the Emperor. We have the Knight of Wands. We have the 5 of Swords in reverse. We have the Page of Wands. We have the Full Moon, which isn't, you know, in the original Rider-Waite-Smith tarot deck, but the Full Moon I think is exclusive to this deck, so that is interesting that you got a kind of unique card in this reading. We have the Lovers. Ooh. And we have Justice. Let me just make sure that all the cards are in frame, Power One. Please bear with me. Okay, pal one. So, we talked about how this wasn't going to be a quickie. No, I don't think it is, especially with this lovers showing up and this 10 of stars, the 10 of pentacles. It feels as though this person actually fantasizes. And I'm sorry if you just came to this reading for like purely the sexual. We will go on to that, so don't worry. But what I'm getting strongly is this person actually fantasizes with this 10 of stars about building a life with you of some kind. So they could literally daydream or fantasize about creating a stable home environment with you. Maybe they haven't felt that way about other people, but I think they really see you as part of their team. They see you with this lovers as like this happy union. Also, the lovers can, symbolize Gemini energy. I'm getting quite a bit of air energy coming through with this reading, so that might be significant. Air and earth, it doesn't have to be. Well, actually wands as well, like we are getting a few wands. So yeah, I guess it could be any sign, but with this lovers and justice showing up, that's making me think of Gemini and Libra. But with this lovers, again, it's taking me back to what we said in the oracle portion of the reading, where it's making me feel as though, this person has two sides to them, and maybe one side hasn't been explored fully yet, and that's something that they want to show you. And I'm getting the phrase like they want to come and show you something that you've never seen before, something that you've never had access to. So I don't know whether that means just from this person or just in general, but I think they feel as though they really want to swoop in. And yes, they might be thinking about, building this solid life with you, but I don't think that's something that they're actively talking about or telling you. But even in just a physical context, this person really wants to spend a lot of time on you in that way, and they really want to come in and offer justice to the situation. I'm getting the sense with this person that they might think that people you've dealt with in the past in a romantic context, people who you've had sort of flings or things with, maybe this person thinks like they aren't shit, basically, and they want to come in and really give to you. I'm getting like give you what you deserve. So it's giving me the energy of like this person thinking, whether you think this is true or not, power, I'm just explaining what this person is thinking, but it's like they're thinking, all the people who Pal 1 dealt with in the past, they didn't really give Pal 1 the attention they deserve, and I'm going to come in and show Pal 1 what they're missing. I'm going to show them something they've never seen before. I'm going to show them that a lot of time deserves to be spent on them, their body. I'm going to invest a lot of effort into this situation. Yeah, it's not going to be a quickie. With this 10 of stars as well, it's making me think that, this person is not only going to try their best to satisfy you, or at least that is what they're fantasizing about, but they're also daydreaming about like cooking you breakfast in the morning and making sure you're safe and comfortable and well nourished in every way with this Queen of Stars, especially. I think they see you as like a Queen of Stars person who is very much deserving of that. I think they see you as somebody who they can explore this potentially more like freaky side with, because they see you as somebody who is balanced in their perspective, who is a source of comfort, somebody who's not going to judge them, and somebody who they could potentially be open with in that way if that's not something they're usually open about. But either way, whether, they are expressing to you that they want something more long term, or whether the both of you have decided that, regardless of any potential feelings, this is something that's just going to be more physical, or even if that's not been said, either way, this person is intent on taking their time with you and upon satisfying you and giving justice to the situation. They are actually upset on your behalf if other partners you've had in the past have not been able to get you to the point of climax in a physical way, in a bedroom setting, and they want to be the ones who step in and do that. With this Emperor card showing up, it's making me think that this person could actually be like more authoritative than what you might think upon initially meeting them. They might not, necessarily come across as like a top or a dom or something, but actually in the bedroom, they might be the kind of person who is more willing to take charge, to be a good leader in that way. to tell you what to do, to take control of the situation. They could really be that way, and they might fantasize about kind of like bossing you around or being in that more dominant role in that way. So, I said in the oracle, for a lot of you, this is maybe somebody who you haven't slept with before. And I'm getting that sense again with this full moon. This is making me think of like this sense of culmination, of something reaching the point where it is about to explode. I don't know why I got explode. So it makes me think basically of something that's been built up, some sort of pent up frustration or something like that, and coming to that point of release very soon in the near future. So it's making me think that this person, because they are so sexually attracted to you, they fantasize about you a lot, but there is this sense of pent up frustration in their mind, when they are having alone time. This could be somebody who thinks about you a lot in that way. And with this Page of Wands, it makes me think that, if they are having alone time, they might get too excited too quickly and explode. Maybe that's why I was getting the word explode or something like that. It could be that, every time they're around you, there's just this sense of tension. You can both feel it, it's palpable, it's in the air, but maybe they feel as though they can't do much about it in this current energy, because with this Two of Wands in reverse, maybe they, don't know how to express this. They don't know how to make the first steps to get it to this different level. So if this is somebody who you haven't slept with, but there's this attraction there, it could be, they feel friend zoned and they don't know how to get out of this friend zone, and they have all these fantasies, but they don't really know what to do about it. But equally, if this is somebody who you have slept with, but like it felt as though it was a one-off, or you were just going to be friends, or you're no longer friends with benefits or something like that, it could be that there is this frustration due to that because they really want to have that experience with you again. And maybe they want to come and offer justice if they feel as though they haven't given you a positive experience in the past. So, if you were in this friends with benefits situation and the both of you maybe hooked up or something when you were drunk, when you'd had a few drinks, and maybe it wasn't the best, like neither of you were on your A game, it didn't go exactly the way you expected it to go, or it wasn't as good as what you built up in your head. Maybe this is a person who really wants to come in and change the way you picture them in that way. Maybe they recognize that, it wasn't the best, or they could have been better, and they want to come in and offer justice to that situation. They are like, no, you know what, pal one, I wasn't on my A game today, but give me half a chance and I will show you that I can be this emperor. I don't have to be this Page of Wands who gets, too excited too easily or something like that. The Five of Swords can sometimes talk about like reconciliation. So, I don't get the sense, maybe you and this person have been in a little bit of a tiff before. Maybe you've had a small argument about something. I don't think it's necessarily something earth-shattering, because I don't get the sense that there's been a established romantic relationship. It could be that, if it was a friends with benefits, maybe you went through a phase of like not talking as much, or of keeping your distance from each other, or there was a bit of like offishness, a bit of people not really being open or not being as friendly as they once were. It could be something like that, or it could just be reconciliation in the sense that like there's been no argument, nothing has gone wrong, but maybe you've been apart from each other, because with this full moon, it feels as though there's a lot of waiting, a lot of building, a lot of ongoing tension that just keeps building and building and building, and there hasn't been a release yet. So maybe if you two are at a physical distance from each other, maybe if one person was traveling or something like that, or one person lives in another part of the world, it's like you haven't been able to share that release, and maybe soon you are coming back together. Maybe you've planned to meet back up, you've planned to reconcile and sort of pick up where you left off or something like that, and maybe that is when the release will come. But either way, the energy is coming through that this person really wants to fully explore you and spend a lot of time on you. And they not only fantasize about the physical aspect, but they also fantasize about, offering you the world, what they can do for you, what they can offer you. I think this person wants to proceed in a more selfless energy, especially if it feels as though they have been a bit more selfish before. In that sense, this person is very much thinking about what they can give to you, how they can offer justice to this situation. But I think they're struggling to sort of make the first steps towards this happening. I don't know why, but with the Ten of Pentacles and that being about like putting down roots, about legacy and family, it could be that this person, I don't know whether I'm allowed to say this, but it could be that this person has like a breeding kink, or they fantasize about impregnating you. I'm not saying this is something they will do. If you are not capable of getting pregnant or of making someone pregnant, or if that's something you just don't want and you're not interested in that, I'm not saying this person would go against what you want, but it could just be something that they fantasize about. So if this person has this fantasy, when they finish, I think they want it to be in you, or they fantasize about you finishing in them, whichever applies. But obviously just be safe, use protection, make sure that both of you are tested. If you don't want to get pregnant, make sure that you double up on contraception. That is all I'll say. With this Page of Wands and the Knight of Wands coming through, you know, with this page in particular, it's making me feel as though this person could be a little bit younger than you. They don't have to be. It could just be that they feel a little bit more immature than you, or maybe you see them as a bit immature, so you don't see them as necessarily being able to step up in this Emperor energy, and they want you to see them in that different light. So maybe that's like a little bit of a source of worry for you, and it's a source of worry for them because they want to kind of change your opinion on that. I think this would be somebody who would be very open to stepping foot into the world of doing something new. With this Knight of Wands, it's making me think of somebody who is quite free-spirited. They're not afraid to try something different. They're not afraid to be a bit rebellious in the sense that, you know, if you suggested something to them, like switching up the roles in terms of bedroom activities, and that's not something, you know, that's normally as widely accepted in society, I don't think this person's going to let the ideas of society sort of not allow them to enjoy themselves. They are very much up for trying new things, and I think they really fantasize about trying new things with you, of being adventurous, of doing these new and exciting things, of exploring things that they've never explored before. And again, they want it to be a kind of long-lasting experience. I think they might also be a bit more romantic than what you would expect, like with this Lovers showing up. You know, I'm not saying that the actual physical sex that the two of you engage in has to be like making love. If you're not into that kind of thing, I'm not saying that it has to be that way, but I think their aftercare game would be strong. I think they would really look after you and nurture you after the physical activities, and they would equally want to be nurtured and looked after by you. And that might be something that kind of surprises you a little bit, but that is also something that pops into their fantasies, that pops into their head. And yeah, like going back to this Emperor energy, I think they would be very focused on you. I think you would be the main focus of pleasing you, of making you happy. And I think they would be very disciplined in the sense that they would be thinking, I'm not going to stop until pile one is happy with the outcome, whatever that may be. So you are kind of going to be their goal. You are going to be their focus. That is what I'm getting for you, pile one. I hope this made sense. I hope you have some kind of idea about who this is. I might just finish off with a little bit of guidance from the Beach Time Soul Oracle, just to see if there's a potential outcome of this situation. Like, I think we will ask, what is this person going to do next? Are they going to take action? Oh, we have date, meeting someone new dating, get back out there, plan/set a date. And we have separation, sadness, missing you, thinking about you, yearning, unsure of the future. So if this situation is like a friends with benefits and there has been some kind of separation between the two of you, you have not been in contact, or, you know, if this is somebody who you've just had to have a period of time apart, you've put things on pause or something like that, this is saying to me that there are going to be some steps made, I think, from this person to set up a date, to plan something. There's going to be a coming together of some kind. I mean, literally, maybe for some of you, it looks like, you know, a literal coming together. But for others of you, if this is just a date, this is you and this person getting together and doing something cute and romantic together. It feels like maybe they are pushing some of their anxiety aside. They are sick of being unsure about the future of this connection. So I think it will reach a point where, you know, with this full moon, with the culmination of things, this stress, this anxiety, this wondering what's going to happen, and this sense of pent-up frustration, I think it's going to push them into making a decision and making steps towards you to organize this date, to come together, for the two of you to reconcile in some way. If this is somebody who, you know, you've never expressed feelings for, you've never slept with, you've never been intimate with in that way, it could be that this person has spent some time in isolation just thinking about these feelings and these fantasies that they have for you. And, you know, they are actually just deciding to do something about it. They're deciding to arrange a date at long last or something like that. Either way, it's looking positive and it's looking as though there is going to be potentially some exciting things happening in your upcoming near future, Pile 1. So that is what I'm getting for you, Pile 1. I really hope you enjoyed this reading. If you did enjoy it, don't forget to like, hit the thumbs up button, please comment, please subscribe, and please turn on your notifications when you have subscribed so you can see when I upload a new video. Thank you so much for listening, Pile 1, and I'll see you in the next one. Hi, Pile 2 Collective. If you chose this deep brown crystal heart and you chose Pile 2, this will be your reading. This reading is titled, What Are Their Hidden Fantasies? Who is sprung for you this spring and why? If you want to hear a little bit more about what this reading will entail and you want to listen to my little disclaimers, then please check out the introduction. I will go into all of that. But essentially, we are about to get started with the reading. We are going to start by looking at your chosen oracle card, and this will kind of uncover the overarching energy of who this person is, how you might be able to identify this person. For some of you, you will know who this is. You might just not know their hidden fantasies. And in the tarot portion, that is more of what we will explore, more of what we will go into. For others of you, this is going to give you some indication of who this is. If this is like a secret admirer, if you don't know who they are yet, take the oracle portion as confirmation of who this is. And we will also be looking into their hidden fantasies. So I am going to label this, I think, as an 18 plus reading. So if you are below the age of 18, go away and go and do your homework. Come back when you are 18. Or go and watch one of my other readings if you don't want to do your homework. So this reading might be a little bit spicy. It might have mild sexual content because this is a reading regarding fantasies. However, it's not going to be all based on sex. So if you are not interested in having a sexual relationship with somebody right now, but you still want to know like who's thinking about you, who's fantasizing about you, then hopefully there's something that you can still find useful in this reading. Just discount the sexual content and take whatever resonates. Okay, without further hesitation, Pile 2, let's get started and have a look at the card we pulled for you. Okay, Pile 2, so we have... karmic relationship. I'm sorry. I did do a little bit of a disclaimer at the beginning to say that, you know, if some past energy comes through in these readings and it's something you don't want to hear, I can only apologize, but I have to be honest about what I'm seeing in the cards. If you don't think that is something that would align with your well-being right now and your mental health, please click off the reading or please choose a different pile. There could be multiple messages for you, so don't feel like you have to listen to this particular pile, this particular reading, if that's not for your best self right now. I just felt the need to say that with this pile in particular because it's quite evident, you know, it's a karmic relationship. So I would say it's very, very likely that this is a person from the past. For most of you, this is going to resonate as being a romantic interest from the past, someone who you have been in a long-term relationship with, somebody who you have married at one point, or at the very least, there's been some kind of intense feeling. Even if this didn't get to the stage of being like an official relationship, either way, there's some intense feelings here and a lot of lessons learned on both sides. The overarching energy is just that, you know, this is very much a pre-established connection. This is somebody who you have had some kind of intense relationship with, whether that be romantic, whether this just be a friendship that never developed to a romantic stage, but, you know, you both sort of mirrored aspects of each other. There's been some emotional intensity here, probably a lot of hurt feelings on both sides. If this is romantic, this could be somebody who you've had to separate from, somebody who you have had to cut off at some point, and they are very much still fantasizing about you, about thinking of you, and maybe about returning to your life, about coming back together. Whether that's something you want or not, that's not for me to say. Obviously, each individual situation is going to be different, and you have to consider your individual situation and how beneficial it would be to have this person in your life, whether that would align with the person you want to be, your mental health, your emotional well-being. Those are things that you have to decide for yourself. But ultimately, it feels as though there has definitely been this element of mirroring here. You and this person, you might have brought out each other's shadow sides. You might have enabled each other to do some deep self-reflection of some kind and look at your own shadow aspects, analyze your more positive and more negative attributes. So yes, this could very much be your ex who is fantasizing about you. I'm sorry if that's not what you wanted to hear. Like I say, it doesn't have to be your story. You don't have to accept it. You don't have to take it. You are more than welcome to click off this reading if you don't want to hear it. But even, if this is an ex, and if you have already decided this is somebody who you are never ever going to get back with, the karmic cycle has ended, the lesson has been learned, you are drawing a line under it, I still think there can be some power in, maybe understanding this person's motivations a little bit more. If you just need the confirmation that they do very much think about you, that they are still stuck on you and fantasizing, then this might be the reading you need to hear to just confirm what your intuition already knows in that sense. And there is some power to be found in that. Even if sometimes you doubt yourself and you think, this person had a huge impact on me, but I didn't have a huge impact on them, there can just be power in knowing that actually you did. They are very much still thinking about you. Even if you don't want to do anything with that information, you don't want to take action with them, that can be a powerful tool for you in terms of moving forward with somebody else and taking the lessons that you learned from this situation into the next relationship that you have. So that's all I want to do with these readings. I really just want to empower people. I don't want to get anyone down. I don't want to encourage people to stay stuck in a situation that isn't serving them. You know what's for your best interest. I'm not here to tell you that. I don't have that kind of power. I'm just here to read the energy and read the cards. So yeah, sorry, I know I went on about that a bit, but I know with past situations, it's not always the easiest to hear about. But yeah, I do have to approach these readings with integrity and just say what I am seeing and hearing and feeling. Okay, so we've established who this is, that it might be an ex-partner, an ex-boyfriend, an ex-girlfriend, an ex-husband, an ex-wife, or it could just be a friend with whom you had a lot of lessons to learn. There was a lot of karma between the two of you. You mirrored certain things back to each other. But with this particular imagery on the card, this owl for some reason, it's making me feel as though this owl is you. And I don't know why, but it's giving me Empress energy. I mean, this owl is very pretty, very beautiful, so maybe that's you. There is just something very bougie and fabulous about this owl. I'm fixated on this owl. So maybe that's your energy, people are currently seeing you in your Empress energy. They see you as somebody who is very sensuous, very nurturing, very feminine in nature. You do not have to identify as female to have that kind of feminine energy. Please bear that in mind. I feel like you're the type of person who people want to impress, and maybe the things that people perceive you as being impressed by aren't things that you are actually impressed by. So with this bird, and I think this bird is representative of this person who we're talking about, this person who you've been in a karmic cycle with of some kind, I think this is some kind of crow. So with crow, I always think of being attracted to shiny objects. And it could be that originally, this crow person saw you as a shiny object, somebody beautiful and magnificent to have on their arm. But actually with you being this owl, there is something very wise, very intuitive about you. I also feel like you could be a very empathetic person. You could be quite sensitive. You could know more than what you let on, I think, in many situations. But certain people approach you in this energy of seeing you as arm candy, unfortunately, because you are also very physically attractive. It could also be that this crow person thought they could try and lure you in by presenting you with shiny things, so being maybe quite materialistic, thinking they could win your love by buying you things. Maybe their love language is getting gifts or something like that, and they wanted to spoil you in that sense. Or it could be that they are currently fantasizing about spoiling you in that sense, if that's something they weren't able to do previously. It could be like, I want to step in and take this owl out and we will go to the most expensive place in town, order the champagne, then we will go and stay in a really bougie hotel and I'll treat them to this and I'll buy them this, we'll go shopping, they can get whatever they want. And while that would be absolutely lovely, especially if you know this isn't a person who's ever been able to treat you before, if they have never shown up in that energy before, while that is amazing, I don't think that's something that you necessarily value straight away when looking for a romantic partner. Yes, it's nice if somebody is willing to make effort towards you in a material sense, if that is what they want to do. However, I don't think they should mistake that as if they buy you this, that will win your love, because I think you value integrity. I think you value good morals, and I don't think people spending money on you can make up for the fact that they lack good morals, if that is the case. So maybe this person made the mistake of thinking that they could, buy your love, win you over in that way. And they didn't realize that, you do know more than what you let on. You're actually quite intelligent and you're not going to let sort of shiny objects fool you. This person could also be somebody who is distracted by other shiny objects. So if this is a person who maybe had wandering eyes or who always wanted to go to the next shiny thing, this could be something that has made you keep your distance from them. You haven't wanted to progress the relationship for that reason. I'm also getting the phrase opposites attract, and I think there is a dichotomy between you and this person. And I don't know whether I'm getting that very strongly because of the imagery on the card and this being like black and white. So it could be that, you and this person differ a lot, but it's like you have this insane sexual chemistry and pull towards each other despite that. It is literally the phrase opposites attract. And maybe also because, this person is showing up as the crow, maybe they are still very much in their shadow or darker energy, and they see a lot of potential in you in terms of if you have done your shadow work, you are stepping into the light and being this source of radiance, this source of love. You want to give love to other people and you know now how to receive love. You are very confident in that energy. It's bringing me back to that Empress energy, but maybe this person hasn't been able to do their work yet, so they are not showing up in this energy. And maybe there was a point in time where you thought that if you spread your light to this person, then it could help fix them and you could heal them back into their more light energy. But maybe you reached a breaking point with this, you realize you couldn't. I don't know why this is popping into my head, but I'm getting that song from years ago. I can't even remember who it's by. I'm not going to sing it, but the lyrics are something like, Daddy, I've fallen for a monster, and he's got a black heart. Let me know if you know what that song is. But that just kept coming into my head. So it makes me feel as though, this person, maybe when you got together, you knew that they had work to do, but you thought that you could help them do that. You could help them overcome their demons in some sense. And I think a part of you knew what you were getting into when you got with them. I'm not saying that they showed you everything and you knew what you were getting into, but I think a part of you, because you are intuitive, you kind of sensed oh, am I going down a dark path here? Am I going down a bad route? But there was something pulling the two of you together so strongly that it's that was difficult to ignore. Maybe you even said to friends and family in your life, they struggle with this. Am I doing the right thing? Should I be with them? And I don't really know what I'm getting myself into. I keep getting that phrase. But you did it anyway, because at the end of the day, the pull was very strong and it could just not be ignored. The feelings wouldn't go away. You two were drawn towards each other. And I think equally they sense something within you that could be very healing. And I think a part of them was clinging on to that. A part of them really wanted that. But whether they were able to express that to you, I'm not sure. But I think a big part of them being pulled towards you because they could sense this healing energy from you. And they wanted to be part of that, nurturing space with you. With opposites attract, it could just be something you're a morning person, they're a night person, or the other way round. Or you're a more empathetic person and they come across as a little bit cold or something like that. You're introverted, they're extroverted, or the other way around. It's just this sense of opposites, but of somehow also mirroring one another. As well, I get the sense that if this is somebody who you haven't been in communication with, if this is somebody who, you have had to cut off, you have had to establish boundaries, or you have blocked them, I think they are thinking and fantasizing about you a lot, about how to get back in your life, because they are very fixated on you. They are just staring directly your way. But you, it's almost like you're kind of giving them the cold shoulder. You are looking back at them a little bit, but you're kind of like, well, if you want me, you'll have to do this, this, and this. It's this very like bougie, you will step up and be the person I need you to be. Otherwise, I'm not even giving you the time of day energy. And I don't even know if you want to give them the time of day. But yeah, that is what it's giving. It's giving you no longer accepting less than what you deserve, of maybe being in your glow up era, of attracting a lot of admirers, of just being that person who everybody wants to be around, and this includes this person from your past. So that is what I am getting for you, pile 2. We are just going to roll the astro dice. The astro dice should just give you a little bit more confirmation in terms of energy. It could come up with this person's sign or your sign or prominent placements. However, it doesn't have to. It could just be the energy they are currently embodying, and I might get sort of more things through about what this person is thinking, the energy they're in at the moment, and just a few more details about who they are. So let's roll the astro dice and see what it says. Pile 2, please. Okay, pile 2. So interestingly, because we got the 8th house in pile 1, I think it means maybe something slightly different in this reading, but we'll see. We got 8th house. So that's Scorpio energy, Pluto energy. We got the sun. So that's Leo energy. And we've got Sagittarius. So fire sign energy and potential Scorpio energy coming through quite strongly on this pile. Doesn't have to be the case, but if that is your sign or their sign, if they're a fire sign or a Scorpio or you are, that could be confirmation that you chose the right pile and this is the person that we're talking about. So with this Sagittarius energy coming through, it's making me feel as though this person is very much fantasizing about the fact that there is more to explore in this connection. It could be that this person feels as though things ended prematurely. With this 8th house showing up, maybe this relationship got destroyed in some way. If there has been a separation or the two of you having to split up, if things ended in that way, this person feels as though there is a lot more to be explored. There is a lot of potential. They wanted to take this relationship to different places. They wanted to grow and learn with you. They wanted to maybe travel with you or something, with Sagittarius showing up. They just saw a lot more potential than what has currently been explored. And I'm not saying that that is the truth of the situation. I'm just trying to express what this person is thinking. You could be like, well, it didn't end prematurely. It ended when it was meant to, because this person broke my heart, or they betrayed me, or it ended when it had to end. But this person, regardless of what has happened, they feel as though it was too soon. They lost you too soon. There was more that they wanted to do with you, just more that they wanted to explore. And it could be that, this person is reflecting on the fact that they destroyed things if they did. With this 8th house, like Pluto energy showing up, it could be that, when somebody gets too close to them, there is this urge to destroy it. And maybe that's something they're thinking about a lot, and maybe it's something they're really regretting, especially if it's too late to go back. 8th house can talk about death and it can talk about endings. So maybe they are in this energy of reflecting on what went wrong with you and potential things that they did wrong for this relationship to suddenly end. I'm getting suddenly. I mean, it doesn't have to be. It could be that on your end you felt as though things were going wrong for a while. But I think for them, it could have been this like shattering moment. Because let's say that you put up with a lot of shit from them and this was a long time coming. It could be that they never thought you would leave, or, you know, the two of you argue, they know that, but they thought that it would never reach a point where you actually up and leave, or that you actually permanently end things. They thought that, you know, if you break up, you'll get back together, things will go back to normal. And maybe there was this kind of breaking point on your end where that didn't happen, and it came as like a big shock to this person that there was this ending. Maybe it's something they haven't been able to get over because they just weren't expecting it. But, you know, maybe it's also that this person hopes for a potential of a rebirth with this situation. They hope that you can start off on a better foot or something like that. Maybe that's something they think about a lot, how to get in the energy of being able to access you and be in your life again. With this sun showing up, it's making me think that this person thinks of you as somebody who shines very, very brightly, somebody who stands out from the rest. And it could be that they have never felt this strongly towards someone before, and they are dealing with a lot of grief over the death of this situation, over this situation ending in some way. It could be that they fantasize about stepping towards you in a more confident energy and taking charge of the situation, of really getting into that Leo, confident, zealous energy, being passionate and driven towards something, and that something is you. It could be them fantasizing about taking action in that way, of stepping into a more fire sign energy. However, Leo energy also makes me think of sometimes being selfish, like on the shadow side, or only thinking about themselves. So it could be you've been in a situation with this person where it's felt as though they've behaved quite selfishly, they haven't thought about you, they haven't considered you. And sometimes I think the same can be said with Sagittarius. On the shadow side, of course, I'm not talking about Leos or Sagittarius generally. I love that energy, so nothing against that energy, but just on the shadow side, I think Sagittarius can sometimes go ahead and do things and take action without thinking, and especially Sagittarius, you know, with their words, they can sometimes be quite hurtful. They can sort of put their foot in their mouths and then they have to take something back because they said something without really thinking it through. They are an explorer. They're somebody who will go out and go on an adventure and just do. But sometimes that can come with repercussions when that person hasn't always thought through what they wanted to say. So it could be this person has acted in the past without thinking about the consequences, or said things that turned out to be quite hurtful, and you feel like you need an apology from them or something like that. However, it could also be with Leo energy, if we're not talking about the shadow side, you know, Leos can actually be very generous to the people they love. So it could be that this person wants to be more generous towards you. You know, we spoke about in the oracle reading, this person maybe being the type to want to shower you with gifts or want to spoil you. I'm not saying they were always like that, but this could be something they are thinking about. Maybe they are going about this in the way of, like, I can get back into Pal 2's life if I treat them to their favorite XYZ or something like that, and it's something quite expensive. They think that that could be how they win you over. That's how they want to express and show their love. So that is what I'm getting for you with the oracle portion of your reading, Pal 2. I hope this is resonating so far. Hopefully the tarot will provide a little bit more clarity about who this person is if you don't know already, and also we will go into more detail about what this person is fantasizing about. So please stay tuned and we will move on to the tarot portion of the reading. Hi Pal 2 Collective, welcome back to the tarot portion of your reading. Without hesitation, let's just get started and have a look at the cards we pulled for you. Okay, Pile 2, so we have the King of Stars, which in this deck is the King of Pentacles. Stars are Pentacles. We have the Six of Wands reversed. We have the Ten of Moons reversed. We have the Four of Swords. We have the Emperor reversed. We have the Four of Stars reversed. We have the Page of Swords. We have the Ten of Swords reversed. We have the Ace of Moons. Moons are cups, by the way, in this deck. And we have the Five of Moons reversed. I think a lot of it is to do with whatever went down between the two of you in the past. Now, this does feel like for the majority of people, this is going to be a separation of some kind, a relationship coming to an end, you or this person leaving a situation. For some of you, this could have been an actual divorce, like a legal separation. With this Ten of Moons, this is making me very much think of you and this person potentially sharing a home together at some point. That doesn't have to be the case. It could just symbolize that this was, an emotionally intense relationship. It was something that meant something to both of you. I don't think this was just a fling. It was something that involved a lot of intense emotions. But with the Ten of Moons, in reverse, this can often symbolize an unhappy home. So it makes me feel as though this person is reflecting a lot on their own behavior and the part that they had to play in terms of this unhappy home. Maybe they are in deep regret over their actions at a certain point. Maybe they are now starting to reflect on the part that they had to play on this situation coming to an end. That is something they are thinking about a lot. It's something they're fantasizing about. It could even be something that they are, sort of beating themselves up about. They are playing back memories, some of them bad memories, and they are thinking, this is where I went wrong. This is what happened. This is what I did that led to this. But this could be almost comforting to you. I don't think you're the type of person who wants anybody to be in that bad or negative space, but it could feel comforting to know that this person is actually reflecting, because it feels as though maybe in the past this is something that they haven't been able to do. This could be very new for them. This accountability, this way of self-reflecting. Now, obviously, it's going to be extremely different for each individual person, and I'm not claiming to know exactly what went wrong in this relationship, but the overall feeling that I'm getting is a lot of it maybe had to do with this person not taking accountability for their actions. And also with this Six of Wands in reverse, it makes me feel as though we are talking about somebody who hasn't always pulled their weight in the past. So this could be many things, but obviously all relationships, even if they're not romantic, even if it's just a friendship, it takes work to have a relationship with people. And it feels as though this person maybe struggled with a lack of achievement, but in the sense that it was brought upon by themselves, in the sense that they didn't make the effort towards this connection. So this could just be something as simple as the two of you are dating, things are going well, but maybe it always felt as though you were putting in the work to make the situation work. Maybe you were always putting in the effort to plan dates, to see each other, to set time aside to spend time with each other. Maybe this person didn't spend enough time with you, or they weren't making the effort to plan things like that. Equally, a stronger message that I'm getting is that for some people, maybe this person didn't pull their weight in terms of domestic labor, in terms of childcare, in terms of carrying their load in a partnership in those very practical ways, such as doing chores around the house. Maybe this person became quite complacent or became quite lazy. And also, I'm getting this quite strongly that this person, there could have been a few disagreements between the two of you due to this person's beliefs. They might have had at some point slightly toxic or slightly old-fashioned beliefs about who does what in the home or something like that, and this could have led to some conflict and you potentially getting very fed up by this situation and ultimately leaving, like ultimately having to end the relationship due to whatever this person was not doing to show up for you in a consistent way. Because with this Emperor in reverse, I'm getting that even if this person in their own mind is well-intentioned, and I'm not saying whether they are or aren't, but if this person thinks they are well-intentioned, they might want to show up to you in a certain way of being a form of protection, of being a place of safety to you, but it might come across sometimes as quite domineering or of them trying to assert control over you. Maybe in the past there has been certain points where they have been unhappy with the way you've presented yourself, like if you're dressed in a slightly more revealing way, maybe they made some negative comments that were quite hurtful because of their old-fashioned views, and in their mind it came from a place of like not wanting people to sexualize you or something like that. But instead of being able to express that and have an open conversation about it, it might have been received more in the way that they were shaming you for how you dress, or they thought that you were a certain way because of how you dress, or something like that. Something that's a bit more toxic. So it's like they wanted to show up as an emperor upright, but sometimes they found themselves showing up as an emperor in reverse. And I think in terms of what they are thinking and feeling, I think this is something they are reflecting on quite a lot. Again, where they went wrong, what they could do differently in the future. It could be that they meant one thing but said another, and it made you feel a certain type of way, but it's because they weren't able to articulate themselves in the way that they truly meant. And I think that is something that they are thinking about, these misunderstandings that the two of you might have had. They are really considering like, well, you know, how could I have gone about this differently? How could I have gone about this in a way where they would understand where I was coming from? Because I think there is this real sense that they feel as though they've ruined things, and maybe they have, maybe they sense that they will never get this back. But I think that is something, I'm getting the word ruminating. I think they're ruminating and dwelling on this rather a lot. It is very prevalent. It's at the forefront of their mind. I really don't want my readings to come across as stereotypically gendered in any way, but a strong message that I'm getting for some people is, if this is a heterosexual relationship, if you are a woman and this person is a man, it's like they could have had some quite toxic beliefs in terms of exploring sexuality. The kind of toxic beliefs I'm talking about might actually relate to sex and their views on sex, and this might be something that they're actively trying to change. With this Ace of Moons, I'm getting that there is these new emotions. It's like they are exploring a new way of feeling and maybe being able to express themselves in a better way. That is maybe something they're actively working on. But if this is a man and they at one point had a somewhat toxic mentality when it comes to sex, it could be that they viewed sex and intimacy as something that women do for men rather than it being a mutually enjoyable experience. So it could be that this person never pulled their weight, never did things around the house, left all the practical and emotional burdens on you. And then if they did do something around the house one day, they might have expected sex because they did something for you. So now you have to do something for them. They saw the relationship as this kind of toxically transactional thing where it was like, to even do the bare minimum basic responsibilities as an adult, they expected something in return for it, but it wasn't really about you. They were quite selfish. So this could have been more focused on like them finishing, and like once they're done, they don't make the effort to like finish you off in a sexual way or something, because again, they're just viewing it as like, oh, well, Pal 2 only did this for me because XYZ. This is for me. It's not about their experience. So it could be that something has happened to make them realize that actually people who identify as women can enjoy sex just as much, if not more so, than men, and under the right circumstances, women might be the ones who want it more. And I think that is something that this person is realizing. Maybe, you know, this person has had a conversation with some female friends, or I don't know if it's female friends, because I feel like if this person had female friends and if they had open conversations about sex, they wouldn't have thought this way in the first place. But it could just be that they have expanded their horizons in terms of listening to more information about female pleasure, or they've overheard women talking about it and then they've kind of looked it up online or something, and it's like their horizons have been expanded. Because we got that Sagittarius showing up in the astro dice as well, so this could even be something as simple as them being the type of person who refuse to use sex toys or something like that, and you enjoy using sex toys, that is a way that you finish easily. It could be that, you know, you've had a discussion with this person in the past about like using toys on you, and maybe they've refused to because they felt emasculated and they almost felt as though your pleasure didn't matter. And like, well, they finished, so it's fine. Pal 2 doesn't have to finish because they're not that bothered about sex or something, because women aren't bothered about sex in their opinion. And now it's like they've maybe overheard other people talking about sex toys or just really normalizing it. Maybe friends of theirs, it could even be like male friends of theirs, have talked about like using toys on their partners or something like that. And it's become this very normalized thing. And I think it's got this person thinking like, wait, maybe I was wrong all along about the toys. Like maybe I was taking it the wrong way. I was feeling as though I was being judged on my skills or lack thereof if they weren't putting in the effort in the bedroom, when really it's not about them and their ego. Because obviously we got Leo as well, so this could be somebody who got caught up in their ego and they felt as though like if they couldn't please you with their own anatomy just by itself, that said something about them. They thought it was an insult if you asked for toys to be used, or if you asked for something different like oral instead of just straight up sex or something like that. They took that as an insult when really it's a compliment that you wanted to do that, you wanted to explore that with them. You were giving them an opportunity to really listen to you and for you to open up about what you genuinely enjoy, because that could be something that you don't open up to everybody about. And it's like they took it the complete wrong way or something like that. So it could be that in a sexual sense, they are thinking about things that they did wrong in that way and how they could improve going forward. And I've got with this 4 of stars in reverse, I think this person is fantasizing about getting the opportunity to be with you again if you have been with each other in that way, and to be very generous to you, to make it about you, because I think they have had this new discovery recently that maybe they haven't made the effort in that way in the past. It doesn't have to be with sex. It could just be that, you know, they didn't make the effort in a material sense. Maybe the financial burden was all on you. Maybe they didn't contribute in that way. Maybe they were lazy in terms of they weren't helping bring income into the household because they refused to get a job or something, or they refused to provide. And it's like now they want to step up and be in this provider energy, especially with this King of Stars, which we'll go on to. But it's like with this 4 of stars, they want to give to you. I think they want to give you gifts. That's something that keeps coming through. They are fantasizing about you in the way that they think, well, pal 2, I messed it up with them, but you know what? They really deserve to be spoiled. They deserve for me to come in and be generous and give my all to them, give my all to this situation. They want to provide for you, but also it could mean generosity in terms of the sexual experience being just about you, focusing on you, because they spent so long only focusing on them and being selfish, that now they just want it to be about you. Like I said, they could have just had this toxic mentality. If this is a man, obviously that's not going to be the case for all of you. And whichever gender this person is, whichever gender you are, take it to mean what it means to you and your situation. But it could just be they have had toxic views in terms of like, oh, like women don't really enjoy sex, they just do it for men. And now they have discovered that that is very much not the case. I mean, I feel like if you are a woman who enjoys sex out there, you already know that's not the case, and you could have tried to tell them this. And if you are a woman like me who has slept with other women, then you definitely know that that's not the case. It's like maybe this person was stuck in that mentality and they needed to hear it from someone else. Maybe that mentality that they used to have was something that kind of gave you the ick, but I feel like they are really discovering new things. They are learning, like with that Sagittarius philosophical energy coming through, it's like they're getting this whole different perspective on what a relationship can mean. And I think they are, you know, not only thinking about the sexual aspects, the physical aspects, but also thinking about the part that they had to play in things going wrong, and ruminating quite a lot on that, and maybe worrying that they won't be able to access you or get you back in that way. But if this is in regard to like the sexual stuff, pal 2, I am very sorry that you had to deal with that. I'm sorry that you had to put up with that. And honestly, I fully believe There is so much more out there for you. You do not have to put up with that. This relationship could have resulted in both of you feeling like you are on the verge of collapse, you are in ruin. It could have left you feeling as though, you would never get over this situation. But I feel like with this coming up in reverse, I think some time has passed between this situation taking place. And it's like there's healing happening, there's improvements being made, especially on your end. I think you have done a lot of work to get to a good place. And I think this person, they are thinking about that a lot, and honestly they are a little bit worried, because I think with this Page of Swords, they are thinking about how they could potentially get back in your life and talk to you again. But I think also they are maybe remaining quite vigilant about the new opportunities that they perceive you as having with the Ace of Moons. It's making me feel as though, maybe you are talking to someone else. Maybe you are starting to create a life for yourself that doesn't involve this person and doesn't involve this past situation. You've finally done your healing. You've finally been able to, at least partially move on. It might not be another person. Maybe, you said to yourself, I'm not going to be dating for a while. But maybe, like we said in the Oracle, you are just in this more glow up era at the moment. And it feels as though you have more abundance and opportunities heading your way, new and exciting things taking place. And maybe this person is worried about that. They're remaining vigilant and they're thinking about it a lot, because they might be thinking like, oh, it's only a matter of time before Pile 2 moves on. How should I try and infiltrate myself into their life again? They are thinking about the ways to come and talk to you. I think they're playing conversations in their head of things they could say. Like if you have them unblocked, like if they can talk to you if they wanted to, I think they are fantasizing a lot about how to go about that, how to do it. Maybe they slide into your DMs very innocently and they're like, hi, how are you? Like, how have you been? But really a part of them is worried about what you're getting up to, because it just looks like you are radiating such an abundant energy. People are gravitating towards you and your energy, are finding you very attractive. And this is something that concerns them, because they are still finding you very attractive and they are therefore worried about any potential other suitors who may find you attractive or something like that. They're worried about people stepping on what they still feel is like their territory. I'm getting their territory. So I think this person, hasn't fully shifted out of that slightly toxic energy. I think with the King of Stars, their intention deep down, the person they want to be, it might not have always aligned with their actions or even who they are in this current energy, but they really want to be this solid provider for you. It's like patriarchal energy with the King of Stars, or they could be a little bit older than you. They could be a literal daddy in terms of like you have children with this person or they have children, or they could just be a little bit older and that's why their views are maybe like slightly different than yours if they come from a different generation. Or it could just be that they are only slightly older than you and it's not a generational thing, but it's just the way this person is because of how they were raised. Maybe there's some differences in opinion and some of theirs are a little bit backwards. And maybe that's something you don't appreciate and a reason that kind of contributed to the two of you separating, if that was the case. But I think what they actually want is just to show up for you and be that stable, I want to say masculine energy, because the King of Stars is associated with the masculine, but it doesn't have to be that this is a man. It could just be that in your dynamic, this is the more masculine person or the more patriarchal person. Yeah, because with this Five of Moons as well, I think this person is, like we were kind of saying, quite worried about the prospect of you moving on. Maybe they've seen that you've moved on from them and they don't like it. Maybe this is also them accepting the part that they had to play in this relationship ending. Maybe this is sort of them accepting and acknowledging their wrongdoings. Even if they're not saying this to you, even if this is something that's hidden, it could be them, like we said, ruminating about this a lot, thinking about it, and also worrying that you have now fully moved on and you're not going to give them a chance again. And honestly, like if you're not going to give them a chance again, like that's with good reason and stick to your boundaries. But I just want to be honest about what's coming up in this person's energy, what they want, what they are fantasizing about a lot, and what they are thinking about a lot. With this Four of Swords, I'm getting the sense that this person, I think they didn't realize how good they had it with you when they had it with you. I think when they were in the relationship with you, maybe they were somebody who, like, if you asked them to do something, they were always whining. If you asked them for more support around the house, they were always making a big deal about it. They were like, oh, you're always nagging me, you're always doing this. But actually, they didn't realize how good they had it. And if you have been separated from this person for a while and you have got to the stage where you have both dated other people, or if they have been involved with somebody else, I think they were given a very swift wake-up call, because whoever they got with next, it's like it made them fantasize about being with you again and thinking like, oh, well, I had it so good with pal 2, but I ruined that. I like destroyed it, you know, with that Pluto energy that we got in the astro dice roll. So it could be that, you know, they see you as like their sanctuary, their peace, and they're thinking, God, I didn't even realize, but I had it so good with pal 2 and I've completely ruined it. It's like they are accepting their wrongdoings, their shortcomings. They are finally acknowledging that. Maybe this is something that, you know, they never acknowledged in the past, but it's something they are really thinking about a lot, like it's got into their head. It could also be that they want to come in this new energy and not only offer you generosity in terms of like financial resources, not only be this provider, but they also want to be your peace. They want to open up more. They want there to be more capacity for emotional growth with the Ace of Moons. They want you to be more open and honest about your feelings going forward. They hope that that is something that the two of you will be able to achieve. So yeah, I think this person is definitely stuck on thinking about you, pal 2. I'm sorry that this was more based around thoughts and feelings rather than hidden fantasies. Obviously, we touched on a little bit of the sexual side. I know that wasn't the majority of the reading, but again, I do just have to be honest about what is coming through, and those were the messages that I was getting. I think this person definitely misses you sexually if you did have a sexual relationship. And I think the main message to take from this is that they want to be very generous to you. They want to show up a lot more generous than what they have done in the past in a physical way. So that is something you can take from this reading. But, you know, especially if you've decided to end this relationship and not go back, and it is for a good reason, I don't want to give you too many sexual messages because, you know, if you know that that is never a possibility again, I fully support your decision. So I don't think it would be fair for me with this energy to give you that kind of reading. If you want a more spicy reading, you are always welcome to look at a different pile if you were drawn to a different pile. But yeah, that is the overarching energy I'm getting for you, pal 2. We are just going to finish up with a little bit of guidance from the Beach Time Soul Oracle. So this might discuss what this person's next actions are, any near future energy. We will just have a look into that. So please bear with me, pal 2. Oh. Okay, pal 2, we have talking, interested, conversing more, awaited message arrives, text, call, email, hoovering. Ugh. Right, okay. So I think this person is fantasizing at the moment, like we said with this Page of Swords. I think they're fantasizing about reaching out to you, about communicating, especially if they haven't communicated for a long time. This might be something that they do in the very near future. If you have had this person blocked for a while and they are now unblocked, or the other way around, it could be that, you know, this is a case of somebody sliding into your DMs and trying to initiate communication. And definitely, I think, you know, if this person has sensed that you are moving on, and if they want to try and pull that energy back, it could be that they are very interested in what's going on with you, where it says interested, and they are conversing more because they want to just find out what you're up to, who you're talking to, whether there's anyone new, whether you have actually moved on. It could also be that they are doing a lot of talking about you to other people. So if you have mutual friends, or if you know each other's families, or if you're colleagues or something like that, they could be trying to find out about you and being very interested in your life in that way. I definitely think this person is going to be reaching out to you soon in some way. You could have already sensed this. You might have been dreaming a lot about this person, or they could have been dreaming about you. They might even reach out to you and say, like, just out of the blue, say like, oh, I had a dream about you recently. It was really weird, blah, blah, blah. It could have been that they had like a saucy dream about you, a bit of a spicy dream. Maybe that is something they won't tell you, but that could be what they dreamt about. They might just say that they had a dream and not tell you what it was, but that's what it could be. But I do think they are going to try and communicate with you in some way, pal two. So that is what to expect in the near future. What you do with that, I'm not sure. That's up to you. But that is the message I'm getting. So I really hope you enjoyed this reading, pal two. I hope it resonated. If it did resonate, please let me know. Please give the video a like, please comment, and if at all possible, please subscribe. That would mean the absolute world to me. I thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care, pal two. Hi, pile 3 collective. Welcome to your reading. If you chose this pale pink crystal heart, and you chose pile 3, this will be your reading. This reading is titled, What Are Their Hidden Fantasies? Who is sprung for you this spring and why? If you want further details regarding what this reading will entail, then please check out the introduction. But basically, it's going to be different for each individual. So this might be somebody who you know has a crush on you, or who you know you have a crush on. And in that case, this will just be exploring their hidden fantasies, the things that you don't know that they're thinking about in terms of you and them. However, this could be a complete, secret admirer reading. Who is thinking about you, who is fantasizing about you, and who is sprung for you this spring. I am going to label this an 18 plus reading, so if you are not yet 18, please go away, do your homework, and come back to this reading when you are 18. Or if you don't want to do your homework, go and watch a different reading for now. Now, for a lot of people watching this reading, it is likely to be a little bit sexual in nature, so please be aware of that going into the reading. However, that's not going to be the case for everybody. People can fantasize about different things. They don't all have to fantasize about something sexual. These don't all have to be sexual fantasies. So if you are not interested in having a sexual relationship with somebody and that's not what you've come to the reading for, then please feel free to carry on listening and see if there's something that you can take from the reading. It's not all going to be sexual 100% of the time, so hopefully you can still take something from it. We are about to get started with the reading, but I just wanted to thank you so much for being here and listening. I notice every single like, every single comment, and every single subscriber, and I am so grateful for you all. Thank you for any support you've been able to offer me so far. And if you do like my style of content, if you want to see more of it, please like the video, please give me a thumbs up, please comment, and if at all possible, please subscribe. That would all mean the absolute world to me, and I would appreciate it so much. Without further hesitation, let's get started and have a look at the card we pulled for you, pile 3. Okay, pile 3, we have got self-love. Okay, so the first thing that I'm noticing relating to the imagery on this card in particular is this cat's eyes. They are very piercing. So it could be that, your eyes are a similar colour, or your eyes, there is just something about them that have people hypnotized. They are quite feline in nature. There could be something very perceptive about your eyes. You could have been told that you have the kind of eyes where it seems like you are able to look into people's souls or something like that. Or if it's not that, it could be this other person. They could have those kinds of eyes. You could have made eye contact with this person, and maybe the sort of spark between you could have been quite intense. Due to this prolonged eye contact, one or both of you could have looked at each other, could have observed each other a little bit longer than necessary. There could have been this little spark, a little feeling in both of your stomachs. A feeling of desire and intensity due to this piercing eye contact that's taken place. Honestly, with this card, I think I am picking up more on your energy than anything. But if this sounds like you, then I guess that is confirmation that we have chosen the right pile, and maybe in the tarot reading, we will get a little bit more insight regarding this person and their fantasies, because the oracle reading should more than anything just be used as an energy check to make sure you've chosen the right pile. We also might get a little bit more information when I roll the astro dice, so please bear that in mind. But in regards to confirmation for you, if you have recently put a lot of work into kind of glowing up, or you are in your self-love era, or you have developed in confidence, you have done your inner work, I think that is very much showing itself on the outside, and people might be attracted to you and fantasizing about you for that reason. I think you're probably somebody that people want to impress because they see you as very confident. The current energy you're in at the moment, they see you as confident, they see you as self-assured, they see you as not in need of anybody else. They see you as quite independent. With this cat showing up, it's like you have this independent streak. And I think they know that if they want to come into your life, they have to really be adding value to it. And I think that makes people kind of want to bend over backwards to prove that they can add value to it. You might get people who try to impress you using the wrong methods. You might get people trying to sort of win you over by buying you things, or just saying like, I do XYZ job, or I do this, I have this much money, when really you might not be too bothered about that. But I think you just have people who see you as quite confident and also quite open-minded too. It's not that you can't be affectionate and cuddly, because you know cats can be affectionate and cuddly when they want to be, but it's like you have this independent streak, you have this element of not needing anyone, of not being needy, and I think people might fantasize about you needing them because that is something that doesn't really happen. I think you are quite self-reliant. Maybe you have learned to be, maybe you've not always been this way, I don't know. But if you are in a self-reliant energy now, I think sometimes people fantasize about how they can get you to need them. And I don't always think that this is like, I don't think it comes from a negative place. I think it's just these other people thinking like, oh, well, how can I add value to Pal 3's life? How can I get them to need me so that I have an excuse to talk to them, to enter their life, to prove that I am beneficial to them in some way? I think sometimes people could also fantasize about seeing your softer side, because like we say, you know, cats can be soft, they can be friendly, they can be social, but not when they don't want to be. So it could be that, you know, you kind of turn people on when, and I don't want you to take this the wrong way, but when you can get a little bit bitchy or something like that and the claws come out, you know how to kind of insult people when they deserve it, or when you want to. It's not that you're unkind. I just think you know how to stick the claws in when it's needed. And I think some people are quite turned on by that. They're quite attracted to it. And it's something, you know, they fantasize about. They might actually fantasize about you putting them in their place, whether verbally or physically. I definitely think that people think of you as somebody who would be quite assertive in terms of the bedroom. With it saying self-love, it gives me the impression that maybe some people fantasize about you literally loving yourself and having some alone time in that way. Maybe you are relatively open about your sexuality. You don't mind talking about your desires, your needs. You don't mind exploring your body and talking openly about that and not feeling ashamed about it. And I think that is something that people fantasize about. I think they wonder what you do when you're pleasuring yourself, how you do it. Do you use your hand, fingers, toys? What do you do? How often do you do it? I think these are all things that people fantasize about. And they see you as somebody who, you know, isn't going to settle for the bare minimum effort in the bedroom. And I think they like that about you. I think they like that you are the kind of person who, you know, if somebody was doing something that didn't work for you, it's not that you would be unkind to them, but you would guide them, you would tell them the right thing to do to give you pleasure. You are very open-minded in the way that you are not afraid to communicate that, and I think this is something that people think about a lot, and something, you know, they fantasize about in some cases. I think probably quite a lot of people think about you and fantasize about you because I think you are quite a physically attractive person. And if you have been glowing up in some way, this could be really apparent by the way you present yourself. The way you dress could be very beautiful and elegant in some way. With the flowers, it's making me think of somebody wearing florals. I don't know why, but I'm getting those cute like ditzy style dresses with a sheared waist and a floral pattern. If you don't identify as being feminine, obviously that might not apply, but there's no reason that people who identify as men or non-binary can't wear floral as well. It looks good on everyone, especially in spring and summer. I know, groundbreaking, but yeah, I think I can just picture that quite vividly. So maybe that is a style of clothing that you might wear. It could be that the person who fantasizes about you most, maybe you met them in a place where you were working on loving yourself. If you have dedicated yourself to a fitness routine and you are consistent with it, it could be that somebody sees you in the gym and they see you working out and they think you're very attractive. And maybe if they see you in yoga pants or something like that, or leggings, maybe this is something they think about later on when they go home or something like that. But it doesn't have to be the case that it has to be the gym. It could be if you have made a promise to yourself to read more books and to really expand your knowledge or something like that. It could have been just somebody who's seen you in a bookshop and wonders about you, about the kind of person you are. I think you radiate this kind of self-assured energy, which people can sense. But I think also they want to know more about you. There's like a little bit of an element of mystery too. But yeah, going back to the self-love thing and all about self-pleasure, I think people can sense that you are very confident in knowing what you want in terms of that, and you're not afraid to express that, you're not afraid to talk about it. And I think it kind of intimidates some people, but equally, I think it also attracts a lot of people because they think, this is really somebody who knows how to make themselves happy. And I also want to make them happy in that way. And I'm glad that they are the kind of person who would give me guidance to do that because they know their own body. So they probably wouldn't mind guiding somebody else regarding like how to please their body or something like that. Okay, so that is what I am getting for you with your Oracle card, pile 3. We are just going to roll the astro dice and get a little bit more confirmation regarding this energy. So please bear with me. Pile 3. Okay, pile 3, so we have the moon, we have Capricorn, we have Capricorn showing up, and we have the 8th house. I don't know what's going on, but the 8th house has shown up in every single reading so far. I'm pretty sure it has anyway. So yeah, the 8th house it is, pile 3. So with this 8th house and the moon showing up, I'm getting that people think there is something, like we said, sort of mystical, something secret, something hidden in terms of you. It's funny because I'm getting the impression that you are a relatively open person. I don't think you mind necessarily discussing like controversial topics, or if somebody were to ask you advice on like something sexual, I think you would be very open-minded and you would listen to them and you wouldn't be afraid to sort of go into details. However, I think you manage to be open while simultaneously not revealing too much about yourself. And I think that is something that people fantasize about a lot. And maybe certain times people have projected fantasies onto you and they've had sort of unrealistic expectations in terms of what they expect you to be like because they view you as potentially being one way. And then once they realize that, you are a multifaceted human being, once they've got into a relationship with you and things get real, it could have been that, their fantasy has sort of been shattered. The illusions have been shattered in some way. I think you are somebody who everybody wants to get to know, but nobody can really get to know properly, or only very few people have got to know you properly. Maybe you have a small circle, you keep your close friends very close, but everyone else, although you talk quite openly with them about various things, it's like, yeah, you managed to do that without ever really revealing too much about yourself and about your own life. And people find you very interesting. I think that's very alluring. A lot of people sort of fantasize about what you would be be like behind the scenes, what it would be like to be friends with you, what it would be like to be your romantic partner or a sexual partner, especially, you know, if you do talk about sexuality openly or something like that. I think they see you as somebody who's quite adventurous, and they wonder what you would be like in that way, and a lot of them wonder if, you know, they would ever get the opportunity to be with you in that way, because a lot of people want to, I think, and maybe that's why we've not got a very specific energy coming through so far, because maybe a lot of people feel this way, but perhaps it hasn't been expressed to you. I think probably you intimidate quite a few people, especially, you know, if you do talk about sexual things and you're not ashamed to do that. I think, you know, there is still a lot of shame with some people surrounding sex, and some people just aren't as open about that. And I think some people, when they feel as though they won't sort of measure up, some people might feel as though they don't measure up to your standards, and it might make them quite insecure, even though they might have secret desires for you. It's like maybe they are reluctant to pursue those desires because they just don't think that they can be on your level. Maybe they see you as somebody who is quite experienced, even if you've not said that you are, and even if you're not. I think because you have a very mature, grown-up attitude in relation to sex, and maybe you talk openly about sexual things, relationships, and things like that, it's like people see you maybe as more like wise beyond your years and knowing more than they do. And I think that that can intimidate certain people, you know, when they aren't quite on that level of maturity yet. With this Capricorn showing up, you know, it makes me think that potentially people within a work setting might be attracted to you, might fantasize about you. Maybe you have like a work persona, you are this one certain way in a work setting, and then you reveal this different side when you get out of work, but maybe your colleagues don't really get to see that other side of you, so they're fantasizing about what that would be like, what it would be like to know you in more than a professional capacity. I'm getting that because, you know, Capricorn is often associated with the 10th house. It could also be that people see you as very self-disciplined, able to motivate yourself, and this is something they find attractive. I think you are somebody who people look at and they think it would be beneficial to have you in their lives. They're like, yeah, with pile 3 at my side, I could do this and this. I think you can be quite motivational. You can kind of encourage people to do better. I think people want to do better in order to be in your life and be around you. So it could be something like that. On the shadow side, Capricorn is linked to Saturn, which is like the planet of restrictions and limitations. So it could be, you know, like we said, due to this sense of intimidation from other people, maybe you have a lot of people fantasizing about you, but they feel restricted in some way. Maybe they just don't have enough self-confidence, enough self-esteem to be able to approach you. Maybe they are placing restrictions on themselves, or maybe there is a literal physical restriction, something that's stopping the people that are fantasizing about you coming towards you, and they feel as though it's just not a barrier they can overcome. So they just stay silent and just admire you from afar and just fantasize about you. And to some degree, it is this illusion with the moon, because they haven't got past the stage of, you know, being able to. So I really don't think the people fantasizing about you the most, I wouldn't say this is somebody who you've been in a relationship with before, or, you know, at least not a long relationship. I don't think you've lived with them or anything like that. I mean, maybe you are somebody who you can be with somebody for years, or you could live with them and they still don't know the real you. However, I'm leaning more towards this being like someone you're friendly with, an acquaintance, or just somebody who sees you, or a colleague or something like that. And, you know, they just think a lot about you and what you would be like behind the scenes. And especially if they had you to themselves, they think about, you know, what they could do to impress you, I think. So that is what I'm getting for you with the oracle reading and the roll of the astro dice pile 3. We are now just going to move along to the tarot portion of your reading, so I'll see you there. Hi pile 3, welcome back to the tarot portion of your reading. Without hesitation, let's get started and have a look at the cards we pulled for you. Okay pile 3, so we have the Ace of Wands, the 7 of Wands in reverse, the Page of Stars. Stars are pentacles in this deck. The Page of Stars reversed, the Sun reversed. There's a lot of reversals. The 8 of Moons. Moons is cups in this deck. That one's upright. We have the Moon. We have the 6 of Wands. We have the Page of Moons reversed. We have the Two of Swords reversed. And we have the Magician. Okay, first of all, pile 3, I do just want to say straight off the bat, with this Ace of Wands coming through as the first card, you know, this person is incredibly physically attracted to you. They are very drawn to you. They feel very passionate about you. I would imagine that when this person has alone time, I don't even think that this person, if you are thinking, you know, this person, when they engage in alone time, they probably watch porn like a lot of people do. I don't think they do. I think this person is like, porn? Nope, never heard of them. Pile 3 is my porn, but I don't think you necessarily have to be doing anything sexual in order to get them to feel this way. It's like you just being you, just existing. They find you so sexy and attractive that no matter what you're doing, it's just got them kind of caught up in their feelings and thinking about you in that way. And it could just be like little things you do that they observe you doing. They just think about it later, even if it's just they see you in a really nice outfit and you look really good. You don't have to be doing anything that's, you know, trying to get people's attention, trying to lure them in that way. But it's like everything you do, I think this person thinks of you as like, they kind of idolize you in a way. I think they do put you up on a pedestal because, you know, we'll get into it in a sec, but there are a lot of reversals coming through, and I think this person is hesitating a lot in terms of coming towards you, but behind the scenes, they definitely think about you, especially when they are having alone time. And I think that, you know, they might retreat to this memory of you. And it doesn't have to be a sexual memory. I don't know if the two of you have like slept together or anything like that. So it doesn't have to be the case that, you know, you've been intimate and that's what they're reflecting on. It could be like if you have been intimate before, it could be that that's the memory that they always think about that gets them going, that like gets them off. Maybe that's something they have told you if that is the case. But it doesn't have to be. It could just be that you being you, showing up as who you are. Something about you has got them like, oh, just thinking about you all the time and just putting a lot of energy, a lot of their drive towards you. Something about you just really gets them going in a very physical way. This could be a person, pal 3. You know, they might have kind of made sexual references or jokes, or they might have been flirty, or they might have sort of bigged themselves up in terms of their ability in the bedroom or something like that. And I think they try to do this to impress you, but I think secretly this person wouldn't know what to do with you if they had you. I think they wouldn't be able to believe their luck if they got to be with you in that way. So I think they might say things and they might kind of flirt and they might try and see what reaction you give them. But I think if the moment came where you actually gave them a chance in that way and the two of you were alone in a bedroom together, I think they would get a bit scared of initiating, to be honest. I think they would feel quite anxious. I think they are really intimidated by you. They might see you as somebody, like if you do talk openly about sexuality, about things you enjoy or something like that, even if you've not had many partners, I think this person might see you as somewhat more experienced than they are. And I think it's just because like maybe the partners they've had previously, I mean, it could be the case that they've not had many partners at all, like if they are a little bit younger or something like that. But it could be that, you know, the partners they've had previously, I think it's just that they've never met anyone like you. So maybe their partners didn't ask for what they wanted in the bedroom. Maybe their partners were not very body confident or something like that. So maybe the kind of sex that they've had before, it has been, you know, bordering on a little bit more vanilla, let's say. And if you speak about doing other things to this person, it seems like you're way more experienced, even if you're not, like, even if you've had like only one more partner than they have or something like that, or you could have even had like less partners than they've had. You could have only had like a couple of partners, but because you've been open to doing more things, to experimenting, and because you have spoken openly about it, it's like this person perceives you as like so far above them. You've done so many more things than they have. And it honestly actually terrifies them a bit. I think it really scares them from coming towards you because, you know, like we said, if they got you alone in a room, I just don't think they know what to do. I don't think they know how to act. And I think, you know, that is a worry for them because a part of them just wants to, you know, come towards you and tell you what they want. But I think they really do hide a lot of these feelings. I don't think they show it because a part of them is like they're turned on by you but terrified of you at the same time. And that is a lot of power, pal 3. You have a hold over this person. You have this person in a chokehold. I don't know what you've done to them, but they are kind of enamored with you. I also think, like, although I've spoken a lot about the physical, and the physical is sort of dominating this reading, we do also have a few cups showing up, a few moons. So I think this person, you know, potentially has, like, I think they have a fixation with you because there could be, you know, deeper feelings there that go beyond the physical. But I don't know if this person has ever experienced anything like that before. So I don't know if they're mature enough to be emotionally vulnerable. I think a lot of the physical things that they do, the way that they think about you, and they just think like, oh, I find pal 3 really attractive, so I think of them a lot, and that's why. It's just because they're hot, it's just because they're beautiful, I find them physically attractive. Well, yes, whilst that is true, I think a lot of the time they spend thinking about you and doing things physically, like touching themselves or something. I think it's a manifestation of the emotional, but I think they're a little bit blocked from that emotional side with the sun in reverse and with the page of moons in reverse. This person could be somebody who is very jokey, who doesn't take things too serious, who you can have like a lot of banter with. You could have a lot of back and forth. They could be somebody who kind of teases you a little bit, but in a flirty way. You might know that they kind of have a little bit of a crush on you, but it feels like they can't fully, you know, it's reminding me of, you know, when people say about boys pulling girls' ponytails in school because they have a crush on them or something like that. This person, although they might not be doing that, that's the kind of thing that it reminds me of. They don't know what to do with their emotions and feelings, so they just keep it bottled up and they think their feelings can be explained by the fact that they are physically attracted to you. But I don't think that's just it. I don't think that's the only factor here. I think there is something about you where, you know, there is a deeper connection there, but I don't know if they know how to fully explore that. They could just keep things very light, very surface level. You might be physically attracted to this person as well, but I think you might be a bit worried that, you know, if you were to explore things with them in a more romantic way, I think you might be worried that there isn't any depth to them, that you couldn't get past that barrier of like being jokey and being lighthearted, just being humorous about things. I think that is a concern for you because I don't think this person has done the level of growth that perhaps you have. And maybe they have never, like maybe they've had relationships before, but I don't know if they will have ever had like a proper serious relationship where you have to have like heart-to-heart conversations and you have to discuss boundaries and you have to be emotionally vulnerable. I don't think they've ever done that before. I think a lot of their relationships in the past have been surface level, and maybe they feel this deeper sense of connection with you that manifests in their lives that they're aware of as like sexual attraction, and that's why they really want to give to you in a sexual way. They don't know what to do with all these feelings that they can't really quite identify. So they could have had like, you know, because we have the best sex when we are emotionally connected to somebody, and I'm not saying that means you have to be in a relationship with somebody to enjoy sex. If you want a friends with benefits situation, that is still an emotional connection. You still have to be vulnerable with that person. You still have to discuss boundaries and all that stuff. So it's still emotional in nature. You are still each other's safe person, regardless of whether it's a committed relationship or not. So no judgment to anyone who like is having sex outside of a committed relationship. That's not what I'm about. I'm all for that. If all parties are happy and you are all consented, you know, there's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. I don't want you to think that is my belief. But I do think we have the best sex when we can be comfortable with people, when we can express our needs. And I don't think this person has encountered that before. Because this person hasn't been able to feel fully emotionally vulnerable with other people because they've not been able to open up. I think they maybe get a sense from you that they could do. And I think that's why they're making like sex the focus, because they think they can sense this something deeper and they know that it could be a very good physical connection. But I think they are sort of dismissing the emotional when really that's what a lot of these intense feelings are based on. That's kind of where it's come from. Yeah, with this Two of Swords as well, like there is some anxiety, some hesitancy coming through. So it's like, I think this person at certain points has maybe tested the waters with you to find out if you're attracted to them. And they could have said something, they could have made some kind of joke. I don't know, I'm getting the image of like, let's say that this is a person who you work with and you're talking about the work night out or something like that. This is the kind of person who could have said to you something like, oh, so should me and you get a hotel then after the works night out? And maybe kind of joking back, you've said to them, yeah, go on then, like, should we book it now? Let's go online. And maybe they've just kind of laughed nervously and kind of backed down, because I think sometimes they don't know, like your humor could be quite deadpan or quite sarcastic. Like if you have Capricorn in your chart, you know, Capricorns can have some of the funniest, most dry humor, and they can really keep a good straight face when telling a joke. So if you are that kind of person, if that is your energy, and you've said something like that, it could have been, you know, this person deep down, they really want that. They would love to be alone in a hotel room with you. They would love it if you were being serious. But I think maybe if you said something like that to them, they've thought, oh shit, and they've like panicked and backed down, because again, like I don't know if they have the full confidence to like go after what they want. I do find this person quite endearing. I don't think this person comes from a bad place or a toxic place. I think this is the kind of person who just doesn't feel as though they are on your level or that they match up to you. I think this is a person who is lacking in a lot of confidence, and they could be quite immature, you know, with some of these reversals. They could be younger than you, they don't have to be, but they could just be a bit immature, and they see you as like this person, even if you're the same age or even if you're younger, they see you as this person who's done so much more than they have, and I think it just worries them. But I do think that they genuinely, you know, want to make you happy. But I think this will be the kind of person who's, oh, I'll tell you what I'm getting actually. I think this person is fantasizing about being the best you've ever had or something like that. And I think a lot of this hesitation is due to their own ego, because they think like, well, I want to be the best that Pal 3's ever had, but I don't think I could be because Pal 3 seems to have more experience than me, and maybe they aren't like body confident or something like that. Maybe this is a case of, you know, them really wanting to please you, because they can already sense that you have a lot of knowledge on what you like in terms of the bedroom. It's like they want to come in and show you something new, show you something unique, and they want you to say that they're the best you've ever had. But I think, like with this magician as well, and we will talk about the magician a little bit more in a second, but the magician can sometimes talk about resourcefulness. And this can be like making the best of what you have with the resources that you have. So it could be, if this person identifies as a man and of having male anatomy, it could be that this person is worried about their size because they think that you might have had like bigger than them or something like that. And when they approach you, they really want to come in and be able to be the best. So it could be their ego getting in the way in that sense. Or if this is a female, or, you know, somebody who identifies as having female anatomy, it could be like they've looked at your previous partners and they see your previous partners as really attractive, or maybe they've said something like, oh, Pal 3 goes for people with big boobs and I have small boobs, so I'm worried about that. That kind of makes me reluctant to take action, because what if I wouldn't be enough for them? What if I wouldn't be the best they've ever had? Because they really want to be. I think with the Six of Wands, that's it. This person has a praise kink. This person fantasizes about you, telling them all the ways they are amazing. I think they would see it as a huge accomplishment if they could pleasure you, if they could make you happy in that way. They would see it as like they've won something if they could get you to the point of climax. So I think a lot of this hesitation is like, you know, they're kind of thinking, not until the time's right. And I actually think with this magician card, I think this person is doing their research, okay? I think they're doing their homework on the kind of thing that you would like. This is the kind of person who would be Googling things up until the late hours. Maybe, you know, on the surface, they present as somebody who knows their stuff. Maybe they make jokes and, you know, on your end, this seems like somebody who has a facade of confidence, and they might say things like, they might imply that they are quite skilled in the bedroom, but because they place you so highly, because they put so much value on you as a person, I think, you know, they would really be researching what you like specifically and trying to find out more information about what you like sexually so they could make it perfect. I think they want to surprise you with this new knowledge that they are hoping to gain. I think they're the kind of person who wants to make you like, wow, where did you learn that? How did you do that? It's like whatever this person feels as though they lack in terms of what they were blessed with genetically, let's say, they want to make up for in their skills, in their resourcefulness. They want to really give you a good time. They want to make it magical for you. They want to make you kind of come back from the experience and think, wow, like what happened? This was a moment that just kind of transformed my life in some way. They really want to make it a mystical time for you, something that feels like magic, something that feels just right. They want to come in and please you just the way you like as well. But I think they don't want you to know that they're thinking about all this behind the scenes because, you know, if they have this facade of coming across as confident or like they know what they're doing, because they don't want to be fully emotionally vulnerable, they don't want you to know that maybe they don't know everything and they maybe don't know what they're doing. So they will just keep to themselves that they're doing, you know, these little bits of research to find out what you like. I don't think they would outright ask you what kind of thing you like. I think they would just try and tease out information so they can come in and surprise you with it, and it'll feel like a magic trick that they've just kind of pulled out of their bag, like you won't be expecting it, that kind of thing. I know I mentioned, you know, with the moon showing up that there could be some hidden feelings, but also with this moon card in particular, I'm sensing that there could maybe be some physical distance. This doesn't have to be the case. It could be like there is temporary physical distance, or, you know, this is a long distance flirtation or situationship or something like that. Because with these two hands, I'm just getting, you know, the phrase of like, we all look at the same moon in the sky, like no matter how many miles you are apart, we're all looking up at this same moon. So something to do with distance maybe, but again, does not have to be the case. That is what I am getting for you, Pal 3. I hope this offered some clarity. I think we will just finish up by shuffling the Beach Time Soul Oracle. That will give us a little bit of closing advice and guidance. We will just try and find out what this person might do next, what the outcome of this situation might be. So please bear with me and we'll look into that. Please. Oh. Okay, Pal 3. So we got the butterfly, relationship evolving to the next phase, healing the inner child and growth. So this is interesting because in the last reading I did, which I think was Who is Thinking About You, we, I think, got the butterfly in one of those piles. So it could be that, you know, if you are a returning viewer and you watched that video, you could have picked the pile that got the butterfly last time, and maybe this is like the same person or something. I don't know, that doesn't have to be the case, but if you haven't watched that video and you want to, please feel free to go back and watch it if you want a little bit more insight on who this person could be. But it's interesting, like this definitely feels as though this has come out for the right pile, because with it saying healing the inner child and then like the sun coming up in reverse and all these reversals, I do think that this person, you know, has a lot of healing to do in terms of inner child work and really learning how to be emotionally vulnerable. Maybe that's something they are working on so they can approach you from a more genuine energy, because in this current phase that they're in at the moment, I think you are probably seeing this person as quite immature, and I think they maybe do have potential. However, I don't blame you for seeing them as not fully mature, because I don't think they are. That's not how they're showing up. They're showing up in this very jokey, jovial energy, not taking things too serious. But I think you're at the point in your life where if you want to have a sexual partner, maybe you do want it to be something more serious, or at the very least, even if you don't want a relationship, you want somebody who's going to cater to your needs and want to satisfy you. And you might not see this person as capable of being able to do that, because maybe you can sense that sometimes they get a little bit nervous around you, and you might know that they are kind of lacking in self-confidence, in self-esteem. So maybe this is a reason you haven't really given them a chance in that way. You haven't taken them too seriously because they're not taking themselves too seriously. But with this butterfly card, maybe they are making steps towards that inner work, that growth. It says relationship evolving to the next phase. So maybe they are, coming out of their cocoon, and maybe they've done some inner work. Maybe they are going to approach you in a slightly more serious way. Maybe, if there is potential here, if there is a mutual attraction, if there are feelings on both sides, maybe this is just a case of this person coming towards you and saying like, we've been flirting, let's actually plan a date, let's actually go on a date and do something. Could be the case. So I think either way, they might just be approaching you in this more serious energy. You can still be playful with like healing the inner child coming through. You and this person might always have that kind of relationship where you're able to bounce ideas off each other, you're able to have a laugh, you're able to have banter. But I think it's going to be more, I think maybe you're going to start feeling like you can rely on this person a little bit more, because maybe in the past they've been quite unreliable, quite immature, quite emotionally closed off. And I think maybe that is something like that is the thing that they are working on currently, to come at you in a different energy, because they know that that's what you require from a connection. So yeah, that is what I am getting for you, Pal 3. I really hope you enjoyed this reading. I hope it resonated. If it did resonate, please let me know. Please give me a like. Click the thumbs up button, please comment, and if at all possible, please subscribe. That would all help me so much, and I would really appreciate it. Thank you, Pal 3, and I'll see you in the next one. Hi, Pal 4 Collective. Welcome to your reading. If you chose this grey crystal heart and you chose Pal 4, this will be your reading. So if you want to know what this reading will entail, then please go and check out the introduction. I will cover everything. But this reading is titled, What Are Their Hidden Fantasies? Who is sprung for you this spring? It's going to be different for every single one of you. For some of you, this might be somebody who you know of, there are feelings established, you like each other, and in that case, this will be uncovering their hidden fantasies, things you might not know, things your intuition might have picked up on but you aren't fully aware of. For others of you, this could be a complete secret admirer, and in that instance, we are going to be covering who this is and what fantasies they might have about you. I am going to label this an 18+ reading. So as I keep saying, if you are not yet 18, go away, go and do your homework and come back to this reading once you are 18. Or if you don't want to do your homework, go and check out a different reading on my channel, one that's suitable for somebody in your age bracket. For those of you who aren't interested in the more sexual side of this reading, I do want to point out that not all fantasies have to be sexual, so not all of these readings will be 100% sexual in nature. Obviously, it is going to lean that way for many people, so just a bit of a pre-warning there. However, I don't want you to feel alienated if you are not interested in exploring the sexual side of things right now. I'm hoping you can still take something from this reading, and that there will be something in this reading that will resonate with you and your situation. With that said, I just want to thank you so much for being here. Thank you for listening. I notice every single like, every single comment, and every single subscriber, and I appreciate them all. It really does mean such a lot to me. So if you do like my style of content, if you do want to like, if you do want to subscribe, and if you do want to comment, that would be absolutely wonderful. Please leave your comments below. Please like the video. Please try and help me out, help me make my channel grow, and keep making this content. Thank you so much for your ongoing support, and without hesitation, we are about to get started and look at the Oracle card. So you can use this Oracle portion of the reading as a little bit of an energy check, and then we will move on to the Tarot portion of the reading a little bit later on. Okay, Pal 4, let's get started and have a look at the card we pulled for you. So we have Ooh, release desire to control. Okay, Christian Grey. I don't know if you've read those books. I don't know if that's significant, but that's just what popped into my mind when I saw that card. But he was a little bit toxic, wasn't he? Let's be honest, that wasn't a very good portrayal of BDSM relationships. So I definitely get the sense that this is a person who might be into power play, might be into taking on a certain role in the bedroom, might be into like domination and submission. This could be something that they have hidden fantasies about. You know, this is meant to be hidden. So this might be something that actually quite surprises you. Maybe, you know, this isn't something you yet know about this person. Maybe they're not the kind of person who you would expect to sort of have those interests, but they actually do. I think this person is definitely a top. Like, if you are in a relationship with somebody already, or you're seeing somebody and you are having a sexual relationship with them and you are the top, I don't think this is your pile. I think this person wants to be the top. They want to be the dom. I think they want to exert power and control over you, but in a consensual and safe way. I'm getting that, you know, this could be somebody who is quite sexually frustrated, which makes me think maybe you haven't had that sexual relationship with them yet. Or if you have, maybe that's something they don't currently have access to. And this is very frustrating because, you know, this person is holding this rose really tightly to the point where the thorns are making them bleed. So it makes me think that, you know, this person is like, oh, like they just can't have access to you. They're frustrated. And, you know, maybe if you are not in an exclusive relationship with this person, obviously it's going to be different for each individual. But if, you know, you and this person were seeing each other, but it's not exclusive, or if, you know, you haven't even expressed feelings yet and you're seeing other people, I think if this person were to see you with somebody else, it would really, really frustrate them a lot. I think every time they see you go on a date or see you talking to somebody, I think it really frustrates them. I think they get quite angry. I think they kind of want you all to themselves. I think a part of them, it comes from a place of protectiveness. Maybe, you know, they have worked through some issues of having like a more type A personality. I think this is quite a serious person with getting type A. I think they are maybe more stoic or more serious in nature. Like, you can have a joke with them. It's not that you can't. But, you know, I think if you said something, if you made a bit of a joke, like a sexual reference, if you said something to them like, I don't know, I keep getting all the 50 Shades of Grey, like film clips, film imagery coming into my head. So I don't know whether that's relevant or anything. But is there something like when they're at a DIY store and there's something about ropes mentioned? Because I'm getting the image of you and this person being at like a DIY store and they say they need a rope or something, and you look at the rope and you say, oh, are you going to tie me up with that? And they look at you really seriously and deadpan just say like, yeah, I will do. And they mean it. I think they mean it. I think they're serious about it. I think, you know, they can keep that straight face and they can say like, well, yeah, we'll do it. Come on, if that's what you want, I'll do it. And it's almost like a threat, but I think it's maybe something that you enjoy. I think you maybe enjoy like teasing them, of winding them up a little bit. You know, if you kind of want to talk to other people to get this person a little bit wound up, I think this could be something that you do on purpose, knowing that it will frustrate them. But I think that it really turns them on. And I think you and them could potentially make it into like a power play game if that's what you both wanted to do. I don't think they would do anything that you're uncomfortable with. So if they haven't introduced this side of themselves yet, it's not like, you know, they have to have this more sort of power play, role play side in order for you to have a healthy sexual relationship. I don't think they need it, but I think they're very much open to exploring kinks and those type of things. They're open-minded. So I think, you know, they could kind of make it into a game where, you know, if they saw you talking to someone else, they might say something like, oh, why were you talking to such a body? But they're not meaning it to be toxic or like you can't talk to them. They're trying to make it into an erotic game. So then you could reply something like, oh, why were you jealous? And they're like, maybe I was, like, maybe I have to mark my territory or something like that. And then they feel like they have to take you to the bedroom to claim you as theirs or something. I don't mean mark their territory as in like wee on you or something. I'm not saying that they're going to urinate on you. I mean, maybe like some people are into that, but if you're not, then don't take it in that way. I absolutely do not mean it in that way. I just mean that, you know, they will try and make it into this fun game while simultaneously doing what you're comfortable with. I think this person would be very serious about boundaries. I think they're not going to try and push you to do something you don't want to do, which is good. That's obviously the bare minimum that everyone should be doing. Everything should be consensual. But don't get scared that, you know, if this person is into like BDSM and you're not, they would never want to push you into doing anything like that. They want you to enjoy yourself. They want you to be fully comfortable. They want you to enjoy it just as much, if not more than them. I think in the past, this is maybe somebody who could be perceived as jealous. I think they have maybe done work on themselves because they could have been like a little bit controlling or jealous in previous relationships. But I think now they have channeled it into like a healthier outlet and maybe exploring that through sexuality rather than making it their personality. I think they know that to have a healthy relationship, there needs to be a certain degree of freedom. So maybe they've released this desire to control and, you know, they've channeled it into a better outlet. With this rose like wilting a little bit, it's making me think that, you know, this person wants to be romantic, but sometimes this might be expressed in ways that don't always come across as romantic. You know how I said they might be somebody who's quite protective? Well, I think they probably are, but sometimes, you know, this could be perceived by you as them getting in your business. Maybe, you know, if they're the kind of person who, like, if you need to go and get your car checked because there's something wrong with it or something like that, this could be the kind of person who feels as though they need to come with you to, like, stand up for you and to make sure that you don't get taken advantage of or something like that. Like, they need to step in and kind of be the hero and help you. And maybe you're thinking like, oh, they clearly don't think I'm very smart if they have to come with me. It's a little bit too much. But I don't think it's that. I think they just want the best for you, but sometimes they don't know the ways to try and show that. So we got a few things about their fantasies there, pal 4. I don't really have any specific details at the moment about who this person is in terms of like where you met them, which is interesting because we were getting more about like fantasies coming through, but I guess that is what the reading is about. So maybe you already are familiar with this person, maybe you already know who they are. If not, we are going to explore that a little bit more in the tarot portion of the reading, so please stay tuned. We are just going to finish off this portion of the reading with a roll of the astro dice. So let's see what we've got for you, pal 4. Pal 4, please. Okay, pal 4, so we have Mercury, we have the 9th house, and we have Capricorn showing up. So with the 9th house showing up, I'm getting that this is potentially quite a well-educated person, or maybe the both of you are well-educated, or maybe you met or encountered them at a higher learning institution like college or university. That doesn't have to be the case, but I think they are quite well-educated. And I also think they have a good idea, a certain kind of knowledge about different cultures. They could be quite well traveled. Their Instagram could have a lot of travel pictures or something like that. And I don't know why. It could be like the Capricorn coming through, and I didn't get this in previous readings where Capricorn showed up, but for some reason I'm getting the image of somebody who is quite image conscious. I know like Capricorn can be to do with reputation, and I think this person could be quite controlled in their demeanor, but I think this could also be that they can be quite controlled in the way they want other people to perceive them. So it could be that in the past they have had some issues with their image. That this doesn't have to be the case. They could just be quite efficient at maintaining their image. So they could follow quite a strict fitness regimen or a strict diet or something like that in order to look the way they do. They could be somebody who is quite muscly. and who has worked hard to get muscles. It doesn't have to be the case. I'm also getting like teeth whitening, something about teeth whitening, or about like Botox or something like that. Again, it doesn't have to be the case, but something about doing something along those similar lines to maintain their image and to keep up their reputation, maybe due to their career or something. They feel like they have to present a certain way, and this means that they have to get treatments done to try and keep up with other people in that role or something like that. That might only apply for a few people listening, does not have to apply to everyone. That's just something I wanted to say because it was coming through quite strongly. It could be that they got these things done in the past when they were less confident and they were more conscious about their image. Maybe now they've like found themselves more. Maybe they don't do that kind of thing anymore, but it was something they did in the past. I'm getting the sense that because, you know, with Capricorn showing up and that being associated with Saturn, maybe, you know, this was the kind of person who didn't really get to explore their sexuality until a little bit later in life. I'm not saying it has to be super late in life or anything like that, but it could have been that, you know, this person grew up when they were a teenager and when people around them were starting to date their friends. They could have felt like they didn't have many dating opportunities. They could have felt like the ugly friend or something like that. And I'm not saying that they are ugly or that they ever were ugly. I'm not saying that that is the case, but I'm just saying that I think that is how this person felt at one stage of their lives. And maybe, you know, maybe if they made a lot of effort to change their image to what they wanted to perceive themselves as in their head, the ideal image that they had in their head, maybe, you know, that gave them more confidence, which therefore like attracted more dating opportunities. So maybe that allowed them to explore their sexuality. And once they did explore their sexuality, they were able to become very adventurous. Like with this ninth house, they were able to do new things. They weren't afraid of trying out things that are a little bit different. I'm getting the phrase like making up for lost time. So if they lost their virginity quite late, like when everyone around them had already lost it and they felt as though they were missing out or something like that, it could have been that once they did start engaging in sexual activities, they really made up for lost time. They were willing to try anything. It's like willing to try anything once kind of vibes, something like that. This could be somebody who is older than you, doesn't have to be. It could also be somebody who is an authority figure in some way. Again, doesn't have to be the case, just might resonate with a few of you. And if it does, that is just a little bit of extra confirmation. With the Mercury showing up, that is also making me think that, again, this person is quite well educated. They have an intelligence about them. You know, they are not just a pretty face. If they are now more what is considered conventionally attractive, if they have really manipulated their appearance to come off as very conventionally attractive and they work very hard to be in a consistent workout routine to get a certain body. It's like people might think of them as just like muscles or just beauty, but they've actually got brains behind that going on as well. They are quite intelligent. I also think that, you know, they could be quite interested. They could fantasize a lot about talking dirty if they are into role play. I think this is somebody who could really get in to the role play. They're not going to be the kind of person who like feels silly for taking on a certain role. They won't try and talk dirty and then giggle because they feel silly or something like that. They will take it seriously and really get into that role and be consistent within that role. So that might be something that they're interested in doing with you. I honestly think with this person, it could go either way in terms of who they are and the relationship with you. I think they could be in a relationship with you. However, if they're not, this could also be somebody where it is a hidden crush. Equally, it might not be a hidden crush. It could be somebody who you were seeing and they don't have access to you anymore and this is frustrating to them or something like that. I really think any one of those things could apply. This could honestly be anyone. I think they are blocking me from getting further details on exactly who this person is, but I feel like you know who they are by these other details that I'm talking about. I think you will know who this person is, but you might not know all of these fantasies that they have about you and what they want to do with you. So that is what I am getting for the oracle portion of your reading, pile 4. We are now going to move along to the tarot. I hope you are enjoying the reading so far. I hope it's resonating. Without hesitation, let's get along to the tarot portion of the reading. I'll see you there, pile 4. Hi powerful, welcome back to the tarot portion of your reading. Without hesitation, let's just get started and have a look at the cards we pulled for you. Okay, powerful. We have the King of Stars, which is Pentacles in this deck. We have Judgment in reverse. We have Strength. We have the King of Swords in reverse. We have the Star. We have the Lovers. We have the King of Wands. We have the Nine of Swords in reverse. We have the Empress. And we have the Eight of Wands. Okay, powerful. So it's crazy to me that we've got so much King's energy coming through. And, you know, two of them are upright. We do have a King of Swords in reverse, which we will talk about. But we have the King of Wands upright and the King of Stars. The only one we don't have showing up here is the King of Cups, which I think, you know, maybe this was somebody who wasn't always allowed to or encouraged to express their emotions. And maybe there is a little bit of a part of them that is quite closed off from their emotions. But I feel as though they do show that they care for you in other ways by stepping up and being a good leader in many ways. Maybe this is somebody who never cries, like they never really show too many emotions, or, you know, you were speaking to this person about the last time you cried, and you are like, yeah, I cried the other day when I saw an advert on TV about stray dogs or a dog charity or something like that. And they're like, oh wow, like I can't remember the last time I cried. I think it was like 15 years ago or something like that. They are somebody who doesn't come across very emotional on the surface. I think there is more bubbling underneath. I think we got the word stoic in the oracle reading, and that is the vibe that I'm getting on this tarot portion of the reading as well. Quite stoic, but I think this is really a person who says what they mean and they mean what they say. So if they say to you, we are going to have a romantic night tonight, we're going to do this and this, and I am going to satisfy you in every way. I'm not going to stop until you're finished, until you've decided that you want us to finish. I think they will kind of put you in the driver's seat that way. They will allow you to make decisions and they will only do what you're comfortable with. But I think ultimately, if they say they're going to do something, they are going to take charge, they're going to take action, and they're going to do it. This is very much like with all the kings coming through, it's very much like daddy energy. They don't have to be a man. You don't have to be a man to have daddy energy, but like we said in the oracle, this is a more dominant person, a more dominant energy, and that's not them just, you know, aggressively coming in and saying like, you must do this, you have to do this, we're doing this, I don't care what you think. I think they are very keen in involving you in the action. They are like keen to allow you to assert your opinion, allow you to say what you want, but I think they are not afraid to make it into a game of power play, but they will make you feel comfortable first. And I think, you know, if you do engage in any form of like BDSM with this person, if you're into more kinky things like that, which I think this person is, again, they won't force you to do anything you're not comfortable with. But I think the things you are comfortable with, if it's maybe like something you've never tried before, if they're giving you a new experience, I think this is a person who you feel really safe with, you feel protected by, you know that this person is doing this, they want you to explore this together. They don't want it to be a case of them taking from you or just doing what they want and it being done. They want you to be very much involved in the process. They want you to feel safe, and I think there would be a lot of aftercare involved in this interaction if you did decide to go in that route of taking things to like a more extreme place than what you might have experienced before. Because, you know, the King of Stars, which is the King of Pentacles, that coming up in the upright, this tells me that this is a kind and protective person. Like, for all of their, I'm going to do this and we're going to do this, I think a lot of it is just games of power play. But ultimately, they're going to make you feel loved and cared for. This isn't about them just getting what they want and just them experiencing pleasure. This is about you very much being involved in the pleasure and this being a mutually enjoyable dynamic. It's more about the enjoyable dynamic between the two of you than just them like bossing you around and coming in and saying what they want to do. It's not about that. Like, it's not about them. It's not about their ego. It's about the roles that the two of you can play together and how that might mutually benefit both of you. You know how we were saying in the oracle, like sometimes this person might struggle to do something romantic that feels like it's matching your love language? I think that's it. I think the two of you maybe have different love languages. And this person, there might be a bit of a miscommunication at first with them like struggling to show how they care about you, because they might think that they can kind of, I think we got this in one of the earlier readings as well, but it could be that they want to come in and buy you things and be a provider, and they think that that is their way of showing their love and looking after you. It's like taking care of you and showing how much you mean by like buying you things. But that might not be your love language. You might appreciate it, you might say it's nice, but really you might need like more words of affirmation or things like that, or acts of service. I mean, I think this person will be doing acts of service in a bedroom sense. I actually think this person will probably do acts of service in terms of like if you needed something fixed around your house, I think they would try and step in and try and do that for you. Maybe they would sort of come in and take over, that kind of thing. Like, even if you didn't ask for help, I think they'd probably do this. But in terms of like words of affirmation, they might not be the most vocal person. They might not tell you all the time what you mean to them. They're the kind of person who they just want to show you. They want to show you with the things they can do for you, the things they can provide for you, and with their actions, because they are very much a doer. Like we said, if you know, they are saying that they're going to do something, I think they are going to do it. The King of Pentacles can also be a very sensuous energy, so with this Empress showing up as well, I don't think this would be a quick encounter if the two of you became intimate together. I think they fantasize about exploring every inch of you and of you doing the same for them. I think you are both quite sensual people. Both of you aren't the type of people who see sex as like something to just do, to tick off your list, to be like a conquest and then to go and brag about. You don't see it in that immature way. You see it as this experience that you can really share together and you can both get something from. And I think both of you kind of want it to be an experience that doesn't end extremely quickly, and I don't think it will. I think this person really fantasizes about taking their time with you and about making sure that you are fully satisfied in this encounter. And with this King of Swords showing up in reverse, so, you know, this is where the more toxic side comes into play. And I do feel as though, you know, this person has they've taken part in a lot of growth, and I think they have tried to challenge some of this energy. But it could be that in relationships in the past, this person has been a little bit oppressive. They've maybe been a little bit too controlling because they didn't have a healthy outlet to kind of explore this power play. But maybe, you know, they have been to therapy, maybe they have done their work, maybe they have worked through some of these issues. You could have an issue still with the fact that maybe you consider this person to still be a little bit cold, or to like say mean things sometimes. It could go back to like this words of affirmations thing. Maybe you need more affection from them for them to tell you how much you mean to them, and maybe you feel they are a little bit cold in the way that that doesn't come naturally to them. I don't think that, you know, they're able to do that, even if they feel it on the inside. And I think, you know, this at the very least has the potential to be a strong connection. If it's not already, if you're not already in a relationship with this person, with this lovers, I think you are like each other's yin and yang. You have the potential to balance each other out for this to really be a successful union, a harmonious union. But I think there's just a few things that the two of you maybe need to work through. I think this person needs to understand your need to really feel valued, and maybe they need to be more careful in terms of the words they use, the things they say. Maybe they have the tendency to be quite blunt, or for certain things they say to sort of cut through the bone, and you're a bit like, whoa, where did that come from? Maybe if they are like an authority figure in your life, maybe you struggle to kind of read them and what is like the professional version of them. Because maybe, you know, you sense there is this attraction, but then they do something at work where it just feels like they're being quite cold towards you or something like that. Obviously, if you don't work together, if it's another situation, take it how it resonates to your situation. But it just feels as though, you know, maybe sometimes you've got your back up a little bit with this person because you've been like, why did you just talk to me like that? And on their end, they don't think that they've been rude or mean. I think maybe it's just the way they were raised. I think, you know, they were encouraged to be very stoic, maybe from a young age. I think, like we said, they just weren't encouraged to express their emotions. And with this Empress coming up, it's making me think of somebody having mummy issues. If you are somebody who has breasts, I think this person might be a little bit obsessed with chests and breasts. And I think they might give a lot of attention to that area, and that might be something that they fantasize about a lot. If you're a woman, they might fantasize about you being the mother of their children, or if you are a man, this person might fantasize about you being the father of their children or something like that. They just see you as very fertile. So be safe if you do not want to get pregnant or make someone pregnant, because this could be something that this person fantasizes about. I think they fantasize about your body generally a lot, and they see you as this god or goddess. They see you as this work of art, I want to say. And they see your body as, you know, being very much worth exploring with significant effort and significant attention to detail, because, you know, this person, I think they are quite focused and disciplined, and once they get their mind on something, I think they will see it out to completion. So take that in whatever sense you would like, but, you know, they definitely see you in this Empress energy. There could be, you know, some element of mummy issues involved in their obsession with, I want to say, the female form, but obviously it doesn't have to be. But, you know, this could be something they have worked through. Maybe they've come to terms with their mummy issues if they had any. With this Nine of Swords coming up in reverse, you know, this can often refer to recovery from mental health issues, which makes me feel as though, you know, this person, although they might have been through significant mental health struggles in the past, and this could be another indicator of, you know how to identify this person. But if they have, it's like they've worked through it, they've done their therapy, they've done their CBT, they've engaged with some of those forms of looking after themselves, and I think they've done a lot of healing. Ooh, this could be the kind of person who, you know, if they did battle some mental health issues in the past, with the Judgment in reverse card, this is saying to me that they could have actually battled, you know, with some confidence issues in terms of self-loathing, of hating who they are. Maybe this is due to the fact that they once had, you know, this more controlling behavior. Maybe they didn't like that about themselves. They had to go through a period of not liking who they were to come out of the other side. It's taken them a lot of work to come out of that other side. And it could be that at one point, maybe this was a person who used sex as almost a way to punish themselves. Maybe if they were into like BDSM or anything like that, maybe they were interested in being hurt, but it was more as a punishment towards themselves than exploring it as like a healthy form of pleasure. So maybe this is something they've worked through and they've turned that into a more positive thing, and they've learned about boundaries, they've learned about exploring these kinds of things safely, so they're not just hurting themselves for the sake of it. Maybe at one point in their life they felt this lack of control, and because they felt so out of control in their personal life, maybe they engaged with something like self-harm. It doesn't have to be like they harmed themselves during sex or did anything like that. It could be that, you know, one of their forms of escapism was self-harm or something, and, you know, now they have found ways to channel their anger towards something productive, towards a better outlet. That is the overarching energy that I'm getting. I think with this Star card, something that they really like about you is that I think you are very different to what they have experienced before. I think they see you as very unique. I think to some degree they see you as unconventional. They could sense that maybe you are a person who would like to explore some of these more kinky things with them or something like that. Or they just see you as a person who they want to explore new things with, do things that have never been done before. It could also be that they see you as quite healing as well. Something about you feels healing to them. And although they know that you can't come in and heal them, they really appreciate that about you. I think with this Empress card, again, they see you as very fertile, as very creative, as very nurturing, very motherly, but it's not in like a kind of... but it's in a very sensuous, sexy way. They see the potential of like starting a family with you or something like that. That could be something that they fantasize about. If you guys aren't at that stage of your relationship yet, this could have been more like a fleeting thought that they had. I think something in their subconscious tells them that you would make a good parent or something like that. It might not be something that they've necessarily thought of directly, but it passes through their mind. They could also see you as a very strong person with this strength card. They could see you as somebody who's been through quite a lot. You could have dealt with your own mental health struggles just like they have, and they could have seen the work that you've done to battle that, to get through that. They might see you as somebody who is quite courageous, or equally, they could be quite brave and courageous. They could come in with this very sort of, I'm getting like Leo energy. It doesn't have to be Leo, but this sort of take charge, I'm going to make the decision, I'll deal with this, I'll sort this energy, like don't worry, I'll take care of it, that kind of energy. They could have dealt with some possessiveness in the past, but I do think this is something that they've been working on or they have already worked through. For some reason, I'm getting the Vampire Diaries scene playing in my head. I don't know whether you're familiar with that show or whether you've watched it or anything. But there's one scene, I can't remember fully what happens, but it's between Damon and Elena. Spoiler alert if you still haven't seen The Vampire Diaries, but it's the season where the two of them finally start like hooking up. And I think they've maybe decided not to hook up because Damon is worried that Elena only likes him because of the sire bond or something like that. If you've not seen it, you'll have no idea whatsoever what I'm talking about. But I'm just getting that scene in my head where, you know, he's decided that they shouldn't sleep together anymore. And she knows that the feelings are more than this sire bond. So I think she's kind of tempting him to forget about that and for them to like hook up again. And she says something to him as she's about to leave, like, well, what would you do with me? But it's to try and entice him. And he says something like, I want to throw you on the bed and never let you leave, or something like that. Oh, that scene had an absolute chokehold over all our teenage hearts at the time that it came out. But yeah, it's something like that where they have like maybe been possessive in the past, but now they've channeled it into this energy of like, they will use that kind of attitude and channel it into like dirty talk or something you can both enjoy, instead of being actually possessive and being the type of person who wouldn't let you leave or wouldn't let you go out or something like that. And with this Eight of Wands coming through, I'm getting the sense that this is very much someone who their sights are firmly set on you. With this wand, it's like an arrow that's pointed only in your direction. I think they are quite fixated on you. Some might say a little bit obsessed. But if this is somebody you know that you're equally attracted to, if they are a physically attractive person, you think that a lot of people would have feelings for them, you might worry that, you know, they could get other people's attention, but I don't think they want anybody else's attention. I think they are firmly fixated on you. I don't think there's anybody else coming into their eye line right now. I also think this might be a person who kind of enjoys the chase to some degree, but ultimately I think they have matured in their mentality towards sex, so I don't think it's all about the chase. I think they realise that there is more to be explored. It's not just about the excitement, the thrill of hooking up with someone new. It's also about what happens after that and the things that both of you can experience together, the new things, the adventurous things that the both of you can try. That is what I am getting for you, pal 4. We will just finish up with a little bit of closing guidance from the Beach Time Soul Oracle. Hopefully we will be able to get some clarity on what this person might do next and any potential outcomes of this situation. So please bear with me, pal 4. Please. Oh, okay, we got 3 cards popping out, so I guess we will discuss 3 then. So we have got Heart with a Key, Welcoming Love, Meeting the One, Open Your Heart, Getting Together, Perfect. We've got Boat, Receiving What You Need, Progression, Arriving, Moving On, Close Moving on, closure issues. We've got ascending, transcending obstacles, learning, expansion, new phase, preparing for union. So these all come across as quite positive cards in terms of what might happen next and potential outcomes with you and this person. If this is a person you've been in a relationship with previously and it didn't work out because maybe they had these mental health issues or these toxic behaviors that they needed to work through, all of these cards are saying to me that there might be some progression in terms of like with learning and expansion. It makes me think of that ninth house energy. It makes me think of, you know, this person expanding in their beliefs, maybe learning new coping mechanisms, maybe learning that they can't treat you the way they did in the past if they ever were like controlling in any way or anything like that. It could be that this person, you know, has learned from that past behavior and that their own behavior is no longer an obstacle because maybe before they were blocking their blessings because you wouldn't put up with that behavior from them. So it could be something to do with that. And progression, it makes me feel as though, yes, like they have made progress in terms of these issues that they dealt with in the past. If this is someone new and you've never been with them before, it might be that they exhibited some of these behaviors with a person in the past and they don't want to do that going forward. So maybe they have done that work so that that doesn't happen and they have progressed in that way. If this person travels, it could be that they want to take you on a boat, like they want to take you on a date on a boat or something like that. I don't know why that's coming through, but it's just what popped into my mind with this card. Also, arriving is making me think of like they have fantasies about the two of you arriving together, if you know what I mean. And with this heart with a key and welcoming and love, this makes me feel as though, you know, even if this hasn't yet developed into a serious relationship, this has some serious potential. I think, you know, this doesn't have to be just a fantasy. This person could want to explore more than just the sexual with you. They could fantasize about you being the one. Maybe this is something they've already thought about. Maybe they are putting together an action plan of how the two of you can come into union in that way. But I do think there is definitely potential of a positive relationship here. Maybe this person has been doing some work on learning how to open their heart. You know, if we did say that they struggle expressing their emotions or something like that, it could be that, you know, if you did have a connection with this person and it ended due to their inability to express their emotions or to give you what you need, it could be like you thought, oh, this person is perfect if it wasn't for XYZ. And in this instance, it might be like their inability to share their feelings or something like that. So it could be that this person is focusing on doing that work and of coming back to you at some point, knowing that they've done that work and knowing that they can now express themselves in a more healthy way. And maybe they've actually taken on board sort of criticisms that you've given them in the past about how they show up in the relationship. Or if you guys haven't been together in that way yet, it could be that, you know, that is some criticism that they received in a previous relationship with somebody else, and now they know how to show up successfully in this new relationship with you. But yeah, we have a lot of potential here for a union to take place of some kind, a physical union, an emotional union. Whatever applies to you and your situation, it's going to be different for everyone, but I do see a lot of potential with this and a lot of growth. That is what I am getting for you, pal 4. I really hope you enjoyed the reading. I hope it resonated. If it did resonate, please let me know. Please give me a like, please comment on the video, and if at all possible, please subscribe. All of that would mean such a lot to me and I would appreciate it so much. Thank you, pal 4, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.